Okay, now we're streaming. All right? For the YouTubers, I had just set up the stream. I didn't know it was streaming. And now we're good. All right. Let me just check the back end. All right, yes. And we'll just put some things in the chat. If I'm a streamer, do I just say, "Hey, chat"? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. Okay, so I put a link to the lore game. Let's also put a link to just the wiki, like the main page. Let's also take a look at the Basketball Syndicate of America. Okay. And then, you know what? I'm put a tipping link in there too, because your boy needs to pay some bills and the income is not coming in. So there you go. There's my PayPal. All right. Let's give this a rundown. Where are we at? Okay, that's fine. We also need to let's put you over here. What is this? Oh, yeah, that can go in the chat. It's the same exact interface. Okay, whatever. Today we will be exploring the lore chapter of the San Francisco Buoys. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick some characters from this lore chapter to add to the roleplay. I'm just going to do 4 of them. Keep it simple. Let's get Prosperity Chamber Pot. Let's get Hugh Barrett. Let's get a backup player. Let's get Jackie Space in here. And then let's get an assistant coach. Okay. Let's make sure these links are pasted here. Wait a minute. I mean, there's this order I need to go in here. Okay, so if you're on Twitter Spaces, I am streaming on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, I am also on Twitter Spaces. Double the outreach. Still have 0 audience. Oh, man. At this point, I'm not even conspiratorial about it. When, back in the day, we were definitely being messed with in terms of visibility. But now it's just, I think we're just in the outcome of that. So... okay, there's the Press Pass lore game. Let's get the Basketball Syndicate of America up there. Ooh, let's put the lore producer link as well. Let's do that. Okay, we'll share these links up here. We need to do the generators. Let's do the notable fan generator. Come on now. I'll explain all this stuff in a while. Ooh, I like that one. You know, if you put link in Twitter, it'll diminish your visibility. So you have to put the paperclip sign. Okay. And we will do the same thing for the Ecosystem Professional. If you're watching YouTube live, I'm not really kind of paying attention to view count or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know how to actually get the view count to show up on OBS. No idea. So the generator, actually, you got all these links up here. We'll explain in a minute, actually. I'm going to do the full overview, the full maxi. Ooh! Look at you! I believe in ethical generative model use. So here is the prompt. Okay. They are a age variable year-old role with a motive and moral. That's our alignment chart. They work for class as the platform. This character is driven by a drive, like a general motive. with the professional goal of their professional goal. Their lore chapter is the registered lore chapter. That's what RLC means. Okay, here's the image output. Here's the prompt for the image. Using only and precisely white, pastel, color variable, and black, create a sepia tone, cyberpunk, diverse, vaporwave, Theodore Jericho style, full body and paint portrait of one individual. We have a rating supremacy variable and a gender variable. Ecosystem professional. Painted museum masterpiece, clarity behind the scenes. So that's the prompt there for the image generator, and it does a great job. So Theodore Jericho is a long dead Renaissance painter. Okay, Adobe. I'm in the middle of stuff. Theodore Jericho. Jean-Louis André Theodore Jericho. Born September 26th in 1791 and died on the 26th of January in 1824. He was a French painter and lithographer whose best-known painting is The Raft of the Medusa. Despite his short life, he was one of the pioneers of the Romantic movement. Born in Rouen, France, Jericho moved to Paris with his family, probably in 1797, where Theodore's father obtained employment in the family tobacco business based at the Hôtel de Longuevue. I don't know how to say that. At the Place du Carrousel. I also don't know how to say that. Jericho's abilities were likely first recognized by the painter and art dealer Jean-Louis Lanavue. Lanavue lived at the Hôtel de Longuevue alongside Jean-Baptiste Carouel. Theodore Jericho's maternal uncle and other members of the extended Jericho family. There's a comment there. In 1808, Jericho began training at the studio of Carle Vernet, where he was educated in the tradition of English sporting art by... honestly, I'll be real, this sounds like I wrote it. It sounds like I wrote it for the Press Pass lore game. Oh, man. Anyway, whole point is, this guy's long dead, and we're not stepping on anybody's toes by generating images in his style. And it is very much... I do love his style. He's also one of the few Renaissance painters that actually painted black people. So, all of our... Okay. Let's get into it. Yeah. My name is Kimani Okearah. I'm the founder of Let Me Out Productions and the showrunner behind this Press Pass All Access franchise and our Season 1. Season 1 is called Here We Stick. It's a sports mockumentary, 24 episodes, about the sports media circuit that is covering the worst professional basketball team of all time. Just so for those of you watching on stream, I have a pretty gnarly digestive disability. I'll just show you. See, I've got a gnarly disability here, and ain't pretty, but I'm the one that goes through it. And because of that disability, I have a really hard time making a living. Because in show business, we work 12-hour sets, and I just affect the cost per minute analysis too much. I'm not even a victim by that. I totally understand that as a business owner. So I'm on my own with Let Me Out Productions. And let's get the link tree up there too. We're working on a new site, so just bear with us. So if you go to letmeout.productions, it won't bring up anything, so just go to the link tree. We do have something on Bonfire for now, but this interface is pretty restrictive. But yeah, I'll put it up there. I think it's useful. Okay, all right. I want the lore game. Here it is. The Press Pass lore game. Aww. Welcome to the Press Pass All Access Community Guide. Press Pass is a fictional sports documentary series. 10% of each season belongs to the community of lore producers playing the lore game. The franchise is Press Pass All Access, and that's the franchise that contains the documentaries. Press Pass, the main series, is just titled Press Pass, begins as one of those We Speak For You takes on U.S. social deep cuts. The subject of the agency hijacking, a character called #LensFace, trolls the production through behavior, deciding not to participate in his own marginalization. The documentary producers abandoned the project after 4 seasons of what amounts to a mosaic exploration of the professional ecosystem surrounding the worst pro basketball team of all time, the Sacramento Majesty. Lucky for everybody, LMO Productions gained the project rights and is now under the direct creative guidance and purview of LensFace himself. Improvisers, wargamers, roleplay enthusiasts, actors, collectors, and producers, we need your help. The Basketball Syndicate of America is largely a mystery, and we have the loose details concerning the winners and losers throughout history, but we don't know why these teams were good and bad. We don't know who was involved. We can't find any footage for our archive, but we know it's out there. We're selling pieces of the documentary to people who want to help us find it, the lore producers. We have 5 primary places for our lore producers to work in. Fandom is the official host of Canonical Details in the Press Pass All Access franchise. LMO Productions has no official partnership with Fandom at the time I'm writing this, and that is still true. But we are open to... I'll just put it out there like this. We want the official partnership with you, Fandom. Reddit is the official public discussion of the Press Pass All Access franchise. LMO Productions has no official partnership with Reddit at the time I'm writing this. Discord is the official and exclusive gathering space for contributors to the Press Pass All Access franchise. Toucan is the official VoIP platform of Press Pass in the modern era, 2012 to 2026. Hello, East Success. How you doing?
I'm good, bro.
I'm streaming on YouTube as well, so here I'll show everybody. Today we're not talking about the core brand pieces. Today we're talking about the show. In fact, the core brand pieces we're in a bit of turmoil with those with the marketplace that we launched them on. So we're working that out with and the FTC has been alerted that we're unreasonably restricted from trade. I won't get into that. But we're currently working on a solution for that, so no big issue. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot to do. So I'm gonna post the generators up here, and it's just an open forum. You don't have to raise hands. I'm not gonna call on people. If there's a lot of folks in here, I might do that. But
hello, please. You say you're streaming on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to come on YouTube, please. Send me the link.
Okay, I'll do that in just a second. I'm going to finish getting my generator links up here. Okay, we have the Eco Pro, that generator, awesome. And I need a screenshot of this bad boy. Did I save her yet? Yeah, I did. Okay, great. Great news. Okay. There's always so much prep to do, but you can't post in the comments of the space until you start the space. So that's sort of the catch-22 we run into. And then let me get you that YouTube link, brother. Put that in here too. So if you go to comment section on the space, you'll see all of the links for everything that we're the Press Pass account is the one tweeting. So did I put the okay, I did do that. That's good. We're set up there. Okay. Come on now. You're set up there. And then there's the YouTube link. Alright, it should be shared in the space now, all the way to the left on the swipers. So we're talking about a fictional sports mockumentary series that I've designed called Press Pass, and it's a giant blockchain networked community intellectual property. So firstly, I've already gone through here. And now there will be a... Okay. Press Pass All Access is an intellectual property franchise of Kimani Okearah's personal design. That's me. And creation. Press Pass All Access features a storyworld ecosystem focused on the micro-economies produced by fictional, mixed-gender professional sports leagues around the world. This ecosystem is built on the scalable intellectual property puzzle model on the LMO Structure for Tokenomics, and that finances each production from the franchise by offering a collaborative audience experience in the story world, value assured by a proof-of-labor system that shares success-based residuals with the production, the creator, and all hired labor on each season. The Genesis television/streaming series in the story world is known as Press Pass, which focuses on the microeconomy produced by the Sacramento Majesty and the Basketball Syndicate of America, established in 1939. In Season 1 of Press Pass, our story begins in September of 2012. So the 73 years that precede September of 2012 are all part of the lore game, and we're going to be generating that together as a community. So we are financing the show through audience experience. Season 1 of Press Pass, also known as Press Pass Here We Stick, Press Pass Season 1, and Press Pass in parentheses Season 1, and PPS 1, welcomes all storytellers to collect a meme of production, a piece of the scalable intellectual property puzzle that allows the owner to create a permanently monetized character in the deep 73-year lore of the Basketball Syndicate of America. This project is the flagship demonstration of the economic model established in March of 2021, titled Scalable Intellectual Property Puzzles on the LMO Structure for Tokenomics. This is the non-fungible token, I know that's a bad word, use case powering the production of Season 1 by offering an equity-backed collaborative audience experience across from each edition of each piece, Version 1 and Version 2 forming a scalable intellectual property puzzle. Interested collaborators may collect any amount of Version 1 or Version 2 collectibles to welcome themselves into this exclusive collaborative relationship with the showrunner, me, and the primary platform of Let Me Out Productions, LLC. Each collectible is backed by a small equity assignment in Season 1 through the limited deed of assignment to the intellectual property asset defined as Press Pass Season 1. The equity assignment is specifically in the asset known and defined as Press Pass Season 1, not the Press Pass All Access franchise. All rights described and contained within this deed are guaranteed and facilitated by the Top Brass DAO, which holders gain access to participate in. Collecting even one puzzle piece provides access. Rights for each lore producer. For each token edition in Season 1, held in either Version 1 or Version 2, collaborators may identify as a lore producer, a lore wrangler, an advanced lore wrangler, a lore master, advanced lore master, a Press Pass elder, a Press Pass luminary, a Press Pass Season 1 co-producer, or a Press Pass Season 1 executive producer, depending on how many puzzle pieces you own. You create or claim one character in the 73-year lore of the Basketball Syndicate of America, one character per edition, and each edition may only register a character only once. Each edition may only register a character. Okay. There's some editing to do, but anyway, yeah. Register one of their created or claimed characters to one lore chapter, one season of Bisafay history for any one team to roleplay in. I Am Success B says, nice one, bro, in the chat. Thank you for transferring to YouTube, my man. Only 288 characters may register to any individual lore chapter, although it's between 288 and 300. It can handle up to 300. One character creation / claim per edition. All collaborators who have earned the Lore Wrangler title may create and roleplay with animal characters like pets and renegade zoo creatures. You heard me right. And you need to have at least 7 editions to register as a Lore Wrangler. Editions may register to a new lore chapter if sold to a new owner at the original stated market value in Ethereum, but only under that explicit and precise condition will an edition that's been previously used to register a character to a lore chapter have the specific right reset. And then so basically you buy a token in the show, you create a character, you join our lore game. It's a tabletop role-playing game kind of situation. And then you role-play using our system to create the official canon of this sports documentary Superworld focused on the Basketball Syndicate of America. After that canon is complete through a community roleplay, each property owner / character can go create a meme of up to 7 seconds in length, reflecting their enjoyment of Season 1, and they may sell that meme as a digital collectible in the Press Pass Lore Game merchandise collection. So you make a meme, you submit it to our ecosystem, we go through a quality assurance vetting process, basically make it appropriate for ages 11 and up. Okay? I call that the SpongeBob rule. And you can get away with a lot in that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just you're challenged to disguise some of these things. The version 1 token allows the collaborator to create any character that's not a player or a coach. So we have two character classes that the version 1 can create. There's the notable fan and the ecosystem professional. There are 530,000 version 1 collectibles on the Ethereum blockchain listed by Let Me Out Productions for 0.0091 Ethereum per edition. For specific roles in each team's history, it's first come, first claim. So that amount of Ethereum is about $20, and you don't need to buy Ethereum. I just want to be clear. The marketplace that we're on, even though we're struggling with them on an ethics, with their ethics, you can actually just use a debit card or a credit card. And on top of that, if you send me money through PayPal or Cash App, and you send me your wallet address, I can just buy the token on your behalf. So the version 2 token allows the collaborator to create any character, including players and coaches. There are only 916 version 2 collectibles on the Ethereum blockchain listed by Let Me Out Productions for 0.02 ETH per edition. For specific roles in each team's history, it's first come, first claim. So the scalable intellectual property puzzle rules. The characters created must reflect the highest level of audience experience the showrunner expects to create with the story world. All submissions require community approval, and frankly, for the first 3,000 characters, it'll be my approval specifically. And it'll be a lot faster, honestly. The showrunner / writer's room / office / episode directors all reserve the right to make adjustments for quality and continuity. Creative adjustments should be rare, while adjustments to format will be rather constant when memes are used in the material. Memes do not have to feature your created characters. Any video material in the show can be used in the memes you create. All collaborator memes that have been sold to collectors can be used, provided the collector agrees. Memes absolutely can be created from scratch and feature your created characters. In the event the community loves a collaborator-created original piece, we'll try to include a story opportunity in our primary show. We will attempt to cast whichever performer you've used for your created characters, provided they fit the inclusive and safe culture of our work environment. Memes must not include genitalia or nudity of any kind. No exceptions. Memes must not include animal blood, waste, or fluids discharged from a body outside of perspiration. This includes human beings. Memes must not include depictions of extreme violence, and memes must not include depictions of true love. Just kidding. We weave some tales. Created character names can be silly, but provided there's at least some degree of realism. That said, there's a real life player named Bol Bol, which is a lovely name, and Tyler Hero, which is a bit on the nose for a clutch basketball player. Have fun. Don't use names of real players unless it's an incredibly common name like Frank Jackson or Jack Frankson. If a created character generates financial value in any measurable way defined by the deed of assignment, both the creator and the performer that have registered wallets included share a source of derivation pool of 35% of the primary value and 3.5% of the secondary value. If additional sources are derived from, including artists and musicians, they are included in the shared pool. All memes created will issue Let Me Out Productions LLC 45% of each primary sale and 2.5% of each secondary sale. All memes created will issue 5% of each primary sale and 2.5% of each secondary sale to a charity of choice curated from the community-generated list provided by the Top Brass DAO. Memes that are derived from one or multiple sources, including direct show material, the likeness of a performer, a character created by someone else, music used on the show, artwork used on the show, or material from a meme created by someone else will issue 35% each primary sale and 3.5% of each secondary sale to a source of derivation pool, which breaks those down to the sources based on merit of use in the work. So you measure an impact percentage, and then that's how that measures out. Memes that are truly original works will see the creator receive 50% of the primary sale and 5% of each secondary sale. In the event they created the work with a team, the creator receives 30% of the primary sale and 3% of each secondary sale. The team members are added to a collaborator pool that issues them 20% of the primary sale and 2% of each secondary sale based on the recorded merit of the work, aka impact percentage, according to the LMO structure. All memes must be submitted through the Top Brass DAO and minted to the blockchain through a Let Me Out Productions interface. All characters registered to the ecosystem with a press pass. All All characters will be registered to the ecosystem with a press pass issued and airdropped by Let Me Out Productions. The press pass will feature the primary team / market of affiliation of your current lore chapter and the era of the character's first story in the world. That doesn't make any sense. This whole thing needs to be edited a little bit. In order to track, enforce, and attribute the relationships in this ecosystem, all characters and memes must be described and recorded on this fandom, as well as in the systems facilitated by the Top Brass DAO. Each page describing community-generated content must have the wallet holding the token registered to the creator and as an end tag to the article. Each page must also include the link to the token hash for the transaction. This registers the historical use of that specific token for the creation or claim of a character. So there's an overview from the Press Pass Wiki, and I just reminded myself how much editing I need to do to that page. All right. So I did say at the beginning of the Twitter space that we're going to be doing an overview of Press Pass before we do a lore game sample. And right now I only have E6SB in here, but him and I can actually run a scenario, but it won't be very fun with just two people. Actually, it doesn't work with just two people, so we'll have ChatGPT fill in a couple of roles for us. Press Pass Main Series, also known as PP:M, PPM, is a collection of the cinematic audience experiences. Called lore games. Our experience forms a sports documentary covering the fictional Sacramento Majesty during their journey to becoming the worst professional basketball team the Syndicate has ever seen. The series is a character mosaic with unique characteristics. Now, sports documentaries are traditionally reliant on flashback and talking head material. In the story of Press Pass, this material is found footage produced by you guys. Produced by the lore producers in the experience. Anyone can become a lore producer by collecting a piece of the lore game puzzle. We welcome doxed, anonymous, and pseudonymous... How do you say it? Pseudonymous? Pseudonymous individuals to participate. All pieces of lore a lore producer successfully submits to the canon is permanently and perpetually scheduled for paid use, and in the instance it is used. We will always offer lore memes and lore scenes as limited digital merchandise from the appropriate season of participation. So the current roadmap for this collection contains 7 or 8 seasons of the production. It's 8 seasons. It's definitely 8 seasons. Each resulting in a community-generated lore, community-generated merchandise, and reflective community wealth initiatives across from measured collaboration. So Press Pass Season 1 is Press Pass Here We Stick. Let me get E6S up on stage here. I'm also going to invite you to co-host just so we don't rug. If we have a co-host and I get kicked off the Twitter space somehow, it gives us longer for me to get back in. So Press Pass Season 1, we have the Season 1 lore game, which is community building and historical lore initiative. That's active right now, and so what we're recruiting for. But you do have to buy the tokens. In fact, let's get that. Let's get that in the chat too. Okay. Version 1. Did that send? Yes, it did. And version 2. Okay, so version 1 is about $20 right now, and version 2 is about $40. If you know you're going, well, I should explain the rules of the game. But if you're buying these tokens, make sure that you get as many as you think you're going to use, or as you think you're going to facilitate if you're buying more than 25 and you're let other people use them for free at the same time. Because the notary service that we built on, that's what blockchain is, a notary service that layers transactions of value and custody into blocks and records them in a chain, a transparent, public, programmable chain. That notary service, we have to pay a notary fee every time we form a transaction on it. And the notary fee is variable based on the busyness of the network. So if you're looking at a token, I'm ready to spend $20, and you go to buy it, and the notary fee is also $20, don't buy it. Like at that moment, just wait for the network to slow down. It's usually at its slowest in the middle of the night, so where the notary fees are like $3, $5, $10. That's reasonable. Okay, let's close that. Let's close Jericho. I'm going to leave that generator open so we can spin some characters up. Okay. So yeah, we have 8 seasons planned in our main series. We have in season 1 we have the lore game. We have the BSFA DAO, the Basketball Syndicate of America. The shorthand is BS of A, but we say BSFA because that's funny. And this features a merchandise competition and a modern lore initiative. So the game results that happen in the 2012-2013 season are going to be produced by the BSFA DAO. The Press Pass Season 1 production is the 24 episodes of our sports documentary produced about our main story arc by us, Let Me Out Productions. And that's a fixed story arc because it's about a sports media circuit covering a bad team, and the team's going to be bad no matter what y'all do in the lore. So I'm going to turn on my heater here. It's a little cold. Press Pass All Access is the intellectual property franchise, aka Storyworld, containing all collections, materials, content, history, resulting characters, resulting fictional settings, and Storyworld possibilities. Press Pass All Access is 100% immutably retained by its creator, Kimani Okearah. Now, I will decentralize the franchise 30 years after wrap of Season 1, and it will be decentralized to everybody who has a piece of any of the seasons or films or membership to one of the DAOs within this franchise. So that's really exciting. Provided all canonical details developed under Genesis lore game experience are respected in full, licensing is available for other North American tales in the Press Pass All Access universe after we get to Season 4 and establish the quality standard. So, okay. Another page that needs a little bit of editing. This one I know needs some editing. For example, I need to add the tiers for 5,000, 10,000, and 53,000 pieces. The Press Pass lore game. We're going to go step by step as to how to get involved in the lore game. Step 1. Create or claim a character under your ownership, guidance, and creative control. We have 4 character styles in the lore game to play with. There's the notable fan. There's the ecosystem professional. That's what I was. I covered the professional basketball in North America for 10 years as a photojournalist. Almost 10. I say the better part of 10 years. Almost 10 years. Didn't quite get to the exact 10-year anniversary. Go for it, success.
So please, bro, I'm sorry to interrupt you on what you're describing, what you're talking about just now. So I'm interested in your business, just that you know. So to be sincere, I'm not in the US, so I wouldn't know how to, for me to be able to do the business with you. So that is why I started to ask, as I'm not in the US now, how am I going to?
Yeah, you don't have to be in the US. Yeah, you don't have to be in the USA. This is the beauty of network collaboration on the blockchain. All you have to have is an intellectual property license to take ownership over any of these tokens, and the method of transferring value is a little different. It depends on your locality. I know my friends in Argentina really want to get involved, but their government struggles with allowing people to buy cryptocurrency, and so that is a roadblock for some international participation. But all you have to have, and I'll this is great. So you're not precluded from this experience at all if you're outside of the USA. So step 1, you create or claim a character under your ownership, guidance, and creative control. We have 4 character styles to roleplay with. There's the notable fan, the ecosystem professional. Those ones you can create and register with a version 1 collectible. And then there's the syndicate players and the team coaches. So the syndicate players are the professional basketball players in the Basketball Syndicate of America, and the team coaches are, they coach the team. So if you're on the link for Press Pass Lore Game, these take you to the generators, the notable fan, ecosystem professional, syndicate players, and team coaches. For 1939, we don't need more players or coaches. I've written all those characters, but they are available to claim. I believe there's 199 characters available to claim if you own a version 2 collectible. The marketplace links version 1 puzzle piece. Let's just go there and I'll show you. Okay. So yeah, it's $17.86 right now for a version 1 collectible. And in the collectible, you see a meme where it's I'm Kimani Okearah with hardcastle.net. This is at the start of my career as a basketball photojournalist, way back in 2012. And I'm very excited to be covering professional basketball for the first time in my photojournalist career. Good job to Sean Turner, who plays me in this clip. He won't be playing me in the show, but he collaborated on producing this meme with us, and that was vital.
I'm Kimani Okearah with hardcastle.net, and I'm very excited to be covering professional basketball for the first time in my photojournalist career.
Welcome to Lens Face. I'm your host, Kimani Okearah, and I am done with this shit. Bye. Okay, so I'll explain the meme. That meme is really shitty quality. It's deliberate. Okay, for let's post this too. For 5 years of my career, about half my career, I actually role-played the first character in this franchise, and the character's name is Lensface. #Lensface. He's a self-important photojournalist, don't you dare call him a photographer, who is convinced that the existence of professional basketball is specifically for his photography. It's a character performed by myself for Let Me Out Productions. It's produced by Let Me Out Productions, and the character is an influencer that makes content as bad as the team I covered. So that's the joke. It's also an exploration of self-righteous. Yeah, go for it.
What am I going to buy? Is it NFT or what is the name of the product that I'm going to buy? So I'm going to exchange that with my cryptocurrency, right? So I want to know the name of the product, how it works, So I'm so confused. So that's why I decided to ask whether am I going to join the game or I don't just know. Sorry, please.
Yeah. I'll explain. The step one is you buy the token that'll register whichever character you feel you're gonna have the most fun with. And if you want to register more than one character, buy more than one token. If you want to play your character in more than one lore chapter of history, there's 73 lore chapters. Actually, there's 1,800 lore chapters across from the 30 different teams. So there's 73 lore chapters in chronological order. So the most your character can roleplay is 73 lore chapters. So if you know you're gonna have a great time and you're gonna want to be in the first 5 years of lore of the Basketball Syndicate of America, make sure to get at least 5 tokens. And this is where we have rights expansion at different tiers of commitment. So the version 1 puzzle piece is $17, $18. You buy it off of the OpenSea marketplace, and to take custody over this puzzle piece, you have to have an intellectual property license / they call it a self-custody Ethereum wallet. Now we have a partner at Let Me Out Productions called Salmon Wallet, and there's a link there right on the lore game. So if you go to Salmon Wallet, what? That's odd. Okay. You go to Salmon Wallet, you hit Access Web Wallet. For me, it's going to take me to... there we go. I'm not going to unlock that in front of y'all, but this is your all-in-one open source wallet for the crypto space. Now, I call it an intellectual property license because what it does is it gives you an address that you take custody over these digital titles with. A non-fungible token is very simply a digital title to intellectual property. Now, it's not a facility for investment. We are not looking for investment. We're looking for collaborators in this story world ecosystem. And if you do collaborate in the story world ecosystem, you are producing content that is in a market position in that ecosystem. So that's the relationship. But it's not an investment facility. And this is where the entire world kind of got off on the wrong foot with this stuff, because people were starting to trade cartoons around as financial instruments, and it was very bizarre behavior. So, yeah, Salmon Wallet. If you don't have a crypto wallet, Salmon Wallet's great. You don't have to download an app or a browser extension. It just is hosted on the browser of your device, and it'll assign you what's called a seed phrase. Now, a seed phrase is exactly the same thing as a safe combination, except for instead of numbers, it's words that go in a specific order. So that's the seed phrase. Keep it secret, keep it safe, and record it in multiple ways. If you're going to store it on the cloud somewhere, make sure it's in a segmented pocket of your cloud, and do it via screenshot, so there's no text crawlers that can pick it up. And then obviously write it down physically in on a notepad and keep that in your closet, and don't let anybody access that information. Your family, your kids, if you have kids, nobody, because you may end up with a significant amount of value in that wallet, and you don't want anybody to have access to that. So any self-custody Ethereum wallet will work. Salmon Wallet is just the official partner of Let Me Out Productions. Not an ad, we're not paid for that, but they are great software. So pick a character that you want to start off the game with. Notable fan, ecosystem professional, syndicate player, or team coach. Based on the type of character you want to register, you grab a version 1 or a version 2 piece. The version 1s register notable fans and ecosystem professionals, and the version 2s register players and coaches. Now, there's only 916 version 2s in the entire supply, so if you miss out on a version 2, you can still become a player or a coach, but you have to actually role-play your way into that position. So think of those as fast-track passes for the players and coaches. So step 2, you buy a puzzle piece, version 1 or version 2 or some combination thereof, and register your character. This character is now your property with certain terms and conditions. Each puzzle piece only ever registers or claims one character. If you want another character in the lore, grab another puzzle piece. That's the way to think of these tokens. They're puzzle pieces in a puzzle. If the addition has been used to register a character, it can never be used to register another, and this is strictly enforced by the puzzle with human audits, but it's automatically enforced by the puzzle. Rights expand at tiers of one piece. So if you have one piece of the puzzle, which is one version 1 or version 2 collectible, you enjoy a 7.27% voting weight and a 7.27% bounty issuance. Then you expand. If you grab 7 pieces, your title expands to Lore Wrangler, which means that you can actually guide the story in one of the 20 story beads in a lore chapter. A story bead is very simply an adventure in the roleplay experience, and a Lore Wrangler is for lack of a better term, the dungeon master of that specific adventure. And you enjoy a 35% voting weight and a 35% bounty issuance. 25 pieces, you become a lore master. 45% voting weight and 45% bounty issuance. Design and plan all 20 story beads in a lore chapter with support from Lore Wranglers. Let others use your pieces to play for free. Once you get to 250 pieces, you become lore master. You have, I said that, 45% voting weight, 45% bounty issuance. 250 pieces makes you an advanced lore master, 60% voting weight and 60% bounty issuance. Same rights as lore master above with 10 different lore chapters. Every 25 pieces is one lore chapter to master. 500 pieces, you become a press pass elder, which is 70% voting weight and 70% bounty issuance. And now you have 20 different lore chapters that you can run. If you are a lore master or above and you're running the lore chapter, you actually get to plan all of the 20 adventures. There's a couple adventures that are fixed rails from me, but and we can actually have up to 24 adventures in any season. Then there's more rights expansion at 5,000 pieces and at 10,000 pieces. I just hadn't added it to this page, so I'm going to keep on trucking here. Step 3, you pick one season of history for one team to roleplay as your character in. These are called lore chapters. Now, in order to lore master an entire chapter, you must have 25 puzzle pieces. If you do have 25 puzzle pieces, you can actually let other people use your pieces for free, which means that the best way to do it, if you're going to go 25, you grab 25, you hold all 25. Now you register your 5 characters. Pick one of them to be your main character, and the other 4 can can be siblings, parents, etc., that kind of thing. Maybe media members in the future, so you have more content flexibility. And then you plug in 4 friends, and each of them is going to put 5 characters in the lore, choose one main character, and then you'll each roleplay 5 seasons. which will take you all the way up to 1944 if you start off in the grassroots with us. So, each puzzle piece registers one character to one lore chapter. You always need an additional piece of the puzzle to register a new character, even if you don't plan on role-playing them specifically. For example, parents, siblings, relatives, friends, and employees/support. You role-play through the history of that lore chapter with 287 other characters in a 2-week experience across 7 lore parties. Now, you can go to one lore party for 10 minutes and troll some canon, or you can go to all 7 lore parties for the 4-hour maximum sessions. If you go to all 7 lore parties and you spend at least 1 hour of time role-playing in the lore party, you actually get a level bonus in your character, and we'll explain that once we get to the characters. Your time, your property, your commitment. Have fun. Level bonuses are issued to folks who go to all 7 lore parties for at least 1 hour each. Step 5. You choose one of 20 story beads to start with. Like I said, these are adventures in that year of team history, and you move around to different arcs from there. You can trade arcs with other role players in real time for a hilarious experience. So, the minimum for a adventure is 12 characters, and the maximum is 16, so everybody has a chance to generate some lore. 12 to 16 characters roleplay in any story beat at any given time and are guided by a lore wrangler, and you must collect 7 pieces or more to become a lore wrangler. Now, we are using Toucan.events as our official partner for the lore game experience, and it's a perfect community experience for this. So, lore masters design 19 of the 20 story beats. The 20th story beat is always the player/coach story beat that handles the season schedule. Lore Wranglers guide players through a story bead, much like a traditional Dungeon Master and other roleplay experiences. Lore Wranglers can absolutely trade story beads throughout the chapter, and I'm down for whatever makes for a hilarious sports documentary archive. That's what I'm down for. Step 6. Everything roleplayed is official canon unless it's inappropriate for ages 11 and up. So you meme the canon with content suitable for an archive to a sports documentary. Meme length must be 7 seconds or less if you have less than 24 puzzle pieces, and they can be up to 5 minutes in length if you have 25 or more puzzle pieces. You may register one approved meme for every one puzzle piece you own. So just so we're tracking, if you have 25 pieces, you're able to submit 25 memes of up to 5 minutes each. Y'all, that is a feature film. Okay, that's a feature film of time. That's 125 minutes of content that you can add to this archive about your characters. And if you and 4 other friends are sharing that experience together, that's going to be a blast. That'll just be fun. So, your memes are put in 4 market positions to earn you commission. And this is what his successor is talking about. 0 guarantees on any commission at all. These are not, like I said, it's not an investment contract. But we use about 1% of the memes in the season itself. Now, if we use a meme, it's literally in an episode. So, let's say you're a notable fan character, and in the role play, there's a playoff game between the Los Angeles Wet Fountains and the Nashville Whiskers, and Game 8, the Wet Fountains lose on a last-second jump shot that their star player missed. We don't know why that happened, but we know it did happen. Okay, so you can say, oh, you know what? My character, my notable fan, was sitting courtside that game, and my character was eating garlic bread and onion rings all day, just woofing that stuff down, hungry hippo style. And I burped right as the star player went up for that jump shot, and they caught a whiff of my breath, and that's why they missed. So then you go create a meme based on that. You could do the original footage, pretend to actually be in an arena back in 1939, and play that whole thing out. That'll be a little tough to make it look like original footage. You can pretend to be a media member in the future covering that moment. You can also do an artistic reenactment, and that is wide open. You can do live action, you can do animation, there's all sorts of things you can do in artistic reenactment. So in our sports documentary, we're based in Sacramento in the canon, and maybe the Los Angeles Wet Fountains reporters talking to a blogger that's working in the Sacramento media circuit, and they're just, back in the day in 1939, the Wet Fountains lost to, I'm doing a terrible job setting this up, but back in the day in 1939, this star player Manyam missed a last-second shot because there's the one fan on the court side. Then we cut to your meme of you eating onion rings and garlic bread all day, then you letting out a big burp right as they're going up for that shot. and now you're literally in the show. Now, if that happens, you'll get paid out from a bounty to your Ethereum wallet that you have. The minimum payment for episode use is $109. The maximum payment for use in an episode is $1,475. So higher ownership of puzzle pieces is higher bounty, and that's where those percentage points come in. So $110 or $109, I'm sorry, is that 7.27% of the bounty, which is why if you buy 7 pieces, you're at 35% of the bounty. We use 10% of the archive in advertisements. So all of the advertisements for Press Pass are going to be cut from the memes in the archive. That's just, we're just gonna run them. People won't even know they're watching ads. They'll think they're watching more scrollable TikTok and Instagram content. The use bounty range there is $35 to $475. Once again, higher ownership of puzzle pieces, higher bounty, and those bounties are mentioned right up here in step 2. We'll use 100% of the memes in the archive as digital collectibles, and each one will have 1,000 editions. So this is digital merchandise that's officially digital merchandise for the show Press Pass. The creator prices their work. They keep 50% if it's original and 15% if it's derived from sources of art and or labor, with 35% distributed to those sources of derivation based on their impact. We'll keep all memes open for use in future Press Pass content with bounties that scale with franchise and property success, no limits. If we can afford to pay out $20,000 bounties in the future, that's exactly what we're going to do. The Press Pass lore game, lovingly known as a P-Plog, is a scalable community role-playing experience. The community collaborates in the lore of a fictional sport punk universe, resulting in an official canonical lore. It captures childhood dreams of our favorite sports at the highest level. Become the player you dreamed you were. Directly involve yourself with your favorite team's path to a championship as part of the professional franchise. Cover your friends' amazing career as a media professional, but stay unbiased. Become an important fan in the lore. When you close your eyes as a child, you saw yourself making the game-winning play. Some of you grew up to be those pro athletes. The author of this experience, myself, grew up to be a part of the lore of professional basketball in my own way, and along the journey I realized how symbiotic the ecosystem truly was. So if you're out there, I did 119 episodes of this Press Pass show. This Lens Face show, and there's another 30 episodes I could cut together, and I will eventually do that. I have to fish them off an old phone. Okay, so what is a lore game? A lore game is similar to the common tabletop war game experience with some key clarifications. A lore game is fundamentally a puzzle, defined in the intellectual property wrapping the official canon. It has a fixed amount of pieces and a limited amount of official participants who must fit the puzzle in a specific way. There's an official lore game that produces the official canon. Each and every lore game in the Press Pass All Access franchise is exclusively managed by Let Me Out Productions and the Top Brass DAO. Hey. All official participants are automatically members of the Top Brass DAO. Now, for those who aren't in the know, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, and the Top Brass DAO is the audience experience guarantor of Let Me Out Productions. So if Let Me Out Productions somehow fails as a company, everything that we've built is automatically sustainable. It's self-sustainable. So all of your rights that you buy when you buy an intellectual property token, they still apply. All of the rights that you buy when you buy a company ownership token, they still apply. All official participants are called lore producers. That's the base tier. Because it's a puzzle, each participant owns the pieces of the intellectual property they collect to collaborate with. Each lore game will have a custom design specifically for that story. Now, a sport punk universe is devoid of any real-world professional sports, semi-professional or professional sports history of any kind, and celebrates and or explores as much real-world history as possible, relevant to the locale, story experiences, and the background/professions of characters involved. In America, the schools are all, like all the different colleges and universities, those are all still the same names, but their sports histories are not part of our canon. So y'all can just make that stuff up. Out of the world 0 professional teams exist. 0 professional athletes exist. As a genre, the goal is to celebrate untold, hidden, obscure, and otherwise necessary histories of all people while wrapping that experience in a global professional sports roleplay that anybody in the world can fit into, as any character they want, provided they uphold the edicts of Let Me Out Productions, which are authenticity upheld and opportunity uplifted. We have a quality control guideline to ensure the lore does not end up carrying a broad brush, punch-down message or ideology. In fact, one of the goals of this experience is to explore that sort of messaging and the true cognitive impact it has on our shared reality. This is where I'll insert that I'm actually a cognitive linguist first and foremost, and cinema is my chosen language of research. So, there are some fantastical elements. Each professional team is dedicated to a sport god, which is the ancestral spiritual guide of the team. Press Pass Maine features basketball gods. Each team in each professional sports league in a sport punk universe has an associated power element, a particular material or concept that makes them stronger. While some lore producers may take sport gods worship very seriously, and the sport gods may come from various global and godly pantheons, we understand that many of the lore producers are practitioners of faith, and we want this to be a comfortable and fun experience for you in this fictional and hilarious atmosphere. It doesn't mean that you get to dictate what other people do, or that you can be hyper offended at things that may not sync with your experienced reality, but we're not going to be putting you down because you're Christian or Muslim or Taoist or you know what I mean, or Mormon. Like, you can bring those beliefs into the ecosystem. I will say that we don't tolerate bigotry, so your character can be somewhat problematic, but again, it has to be appropriate for ages 11 and up, so just keep that in mind. Ultimately, a sport punk lore game like Press Pass is a wide group cognitive meditation and empathy, producing a shared oxytocin anchor, which is called Zhejian, providing a powerful cognitive tool with which our natural state cortisol anchor, anxiety, can be conquered with more efficiency. In doing so, we'll be uncovering buried history while having fun being or trolling a professional sports legend in whatever ways you can devise. It's sport punk. Have fun. Now, for the business interests out there, we're going to run 4 seasons of the primary show, Press Pass Maine, before launching any spin-offs or licensing material outside of our ecosystem. That includes all of the other sports that we have planned. Football, soccer, what the world calls soccer and what America calls football. What the world calls football and what America calls soccer, and then what America calls football. These are all in our plans. Tennis, water sports, handball, mixed martial arts, all of this stuff. Ultimately, a sport punk lore game like Press Pass, already said that. So a lore game provides a collaborative storytelling experience and a scalable intellectual property puzzle on the LMO Structure for Tokenomics. This paper contains open source gray economic literature focused on maximizing the value and quality of an intellectual property by defining it as a puzzle distributed and sold as digital collectibles using a permanent digital titling technology called blockchain. Let Me Out Productions has only built on Ethereum, one of the most energy-efficient data transfer networks in the world. We plan to use a partner blockchain to be determined as the cement for a layer 2 system for the lore game. And I'll tell you right now out there, everybody, it seems like Near Protocol is in the lead. And then a close second would be Polygon, but it really depends on who is willing to buy the product as it's designed. In a Press Pass lore game, each aspiring lore producer wanting to participate in a lore game in the official canon must commit to the intellectual property by collecting a piece of it, and our active beta is Press Pass Season 1. So there's a roadmap here. There's the distribution rights tokens. So if you're a person like Asmongold out there, or Mr. Beast, you can literally buy the distribution rights to Press Pass, and for 191.6 Ethereum, about 300,000. So we actually actively want we call it over-the-top distribution and show business. We actively want that for this show. Like, if we're not on Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, Apple, Paramount, Sony, whatever the hell's going on, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Because I'll tell you what, if we're syndicated between Pokimane, Moist Critical, Asmongold, and Mr. Beast on a Thursday afternoon in a 6-hour window, we'll do just fine. we'll be okay. So, there you go. Do I need to read all this stuff? The intellectual property franchise, also known as a storyworld, is called Press Pass All Access. It was originally conceptualized and developed in 2016 by myself, so that was a while ago. Each lore game developed and produced in this franchise is a separate distributed intellectual property asset, which we call a DIPA, D-I-P-A. The lore game and the resulting lore and content totaling the Press Pass Season 1 experience is contained within the Press Pass All Access Story World. The goal for Season 1 is to collaborate on the lore of the Basketball Syndicate of America. We're specifically looking for role players, actors, memers, comedians, short-form content creators, streamers, influencers, sports media professionals, professional athletes, sports fans, and people who hate professional sports. All of y'all come in, synthesize, let's come up with some lore together. If you're a professional athlete, I know quite a few of y'all, I encourage y'all to take a different approach by becoming an ecosystem professional or a notable fan. You're already doing the pro athlete thing in real life, so it probably won't be fun for you to be doing that in the lore game. I mean, I can't promise that. The entire experience is going to be fun no matter what angle you're coming into it. I already shared a lot of this stuff earlier. There are only 530,000 version 1 collectibles in Season 1. The version 1 holders may register ecosystem professionals and notable fans. So an ecosystem professional is a character class in the game, and that class is the only one with subclass. But the subclass are team staff, media professionals, and service professionals. So there's 57 team staff members per lore chapter, 42 media professionals, and 72 service professionals. Notable fans, there's only 99 notable fans in each lore chapter. 99 notable fans in the chapter, 99 notable fans, take one down, pass it around, 98 notable fans in the chapter. There are only 916 version 2 collectibles. Version 2 holders may register, syndicate players, and there's no more than 15 syndicate players in any lore chapter, and team coaches, and there's no more than one head coach and 2 assistant coaches in any lore chapter at any given time. Now, if you're a team governor in a lore chapter, you guys can actually fire the coaches and trade players and stuff. team governors, general managers, those are ecosystem professionals. There's team staff. So if you're sneaky about it and you're thinking, okay, I'll get a version 1 collectible, I'm going to become a general manager, do that. You can that's a great way to impact the lore. So let's talk about the edition rules. Each edition you collect may register exactly 1 character to any 1 lore chapter. Once a character has been registered with that specific edition, it can never register another new character ever. A character can register to any lore chapter they wish, provided the character is still alive in the canon. And now the only person who can kill a character in the canon is you, the owner of that character. But frankly, the rest of the folks around you, they can kind of roleplay whatever. They can put you in all sorts of conditions if they're really... You know what I mean? So, be nice. A character can only register to 1 lore chapter at a time, but they may register to as many as they'd like to participate in. Each edition registers exactly 1 character to any 1 lore chapter. Each edition has a unique and specific transaction history, which is used to enforce each edition's use and placement in the ecosystem. Each edition can register an existing character to a lore chapter, even if purchased on resale, provided it was sold for the original platform list at the minimum. Each edition you collect may register exactly 1 lore meme or lore scene. Lore meme is up to 7 seconds and a lore scene is up to 5 minutes, to any 1 lore chapter in the Press Pass Season 1 archive. So each edition is able to register exactly 1 piece of lore. For lore producers with less than 25 puzzle pieces, the maximum length of a video/audio submission is 7 seconds. These submissions are called lore memes. For lore producers with 25 pieces or more, the maximum length of video/audio submissions is 5 minutes. These submissions are called lore scenes. The right to register a lore meme or a lore scene can reset for a new collector if conditions are met. So once a lore meme or lore scene has been registered with an edition, a new registration may occur with that edition if the edition is sold on the secondary market for at or above 0.0091 Ethereum. It must be sold to a collector wallet that hasn't registered a lore meme or a lore scene from that edition's specific transaction history. So you can't game the system by sending it out and sending it back. Then the new collector wallet may register a new lore meme or lore scene if the lore chapter has room. So Press Pass Season 1 accommodates exactly 288 characters and 831 pieces of lore per lore chapter. Now, I doubt most of these lore chapters will even get close to 831 pieces of lore. It'll probably be a 1-to-1 relationship with the characters, but you never know. So, how to play. Software requirements. You need a intellectual property license / Ethereum wallet. Salmon Wallet is our partner, but there's all sorts of options. A Salmon Wallet is an intellectual property license and digital safe for interaction with the public notary service, Ethereum, that we use to build this collaborative property. When signing up, you'll be issued a seed phrase. This is exactly as important as a combination to a safe, and it works the same way. Instead of numbers, you're assigned words that need to be written in the exact case, spelling, and order of assignment. Make sure you keep at least 2 safe records of this precise and exact information. Let Me Out Productions suggests keeping a physical copy of this information somewhere only you will find it. All commission produced by your specific contributions to the lore game will be issued to that wallet address, registered to the character. So if you need to change those details, it's really easy to change those details. And all the tokens that we do sell are insured. So if you end up getting scammed out of your wallet, you can actually get your ecosystem rights back. Salmon Wallet is an official development partner of Let Me Out Productions. This is not a financial relationship. The first interface requirement is toucan.events. Registered lore producers enjoy access, sponsored by Let Me Out Productions and the Top Brass DAO. Unless otherwise arranged, lore parties must be hosted and streamed on toucan.events. So they're the official development partner of Let Me Out Productions, again, not a financial relationship. The second interface requirement is the Let Me Out Productions /x Top Brass DAO server. And we have a Discord space for that, and we also use our development partner at dwork.xyz if you don't want to use Discord. And that's the host interface /layer 2 system specifically of the Top Brass DAO. Once again, not a financial relationship, and then Discord is obviously not affiliated with Let Me Out Productions. So, if you're out there listening or you're out there watching the stream, decide what kind of character you want to play in the history of the Basketball Syndicate of America. Don't like basketball? Give it a shot anyway, and establish your character in the Bisafe story. You can always transition them to a different sport once the lore game expands. So, you can generate or register an unclaimed Syndicate player. You need a version 2. For 1939, you can only claim the unclaimed. So you need a version 2 collectible to claim an unclaimed Syndicate player. Let me post these links in the chat too. Okay. Same thing for a team coach. Unregistered, unclaimed team coach, you need a version 2 collectible for an unclaimed team coach. Let me make sure I have that link correct. You're unclaimed, right? Yeah. There we go. I'm putting these in the chat on YouTube. There we go. Okay. Let's get back here, and then to generate or register an unclaimed ecosystem professional, you need a version 1 collectible. Same thing with a notable fan. So you collect at least one edition of the appropriate version 1 or version 2 collectible to get started. You must commit to the intellectual property by buying some of it. Now you fill out our character registration form. The collectibles are actually required to access this form, and it'll provide you with a thorough prompt. From there, you may write the prompt yourself, or you may use artificial intelligence to help add your character to your character background. When you submit the form to me, it'll register all the details that you include, and then I'll plug that into our language learning model and generate a sports article about that character that's based on my writing. I've been writing sports articles in the media circuit of the Sacramento Pro Basketball since 2005. I started my career as a photojournalist in 2012. So, well, you know what? Actually, it was spring 2013, but it's the 12-13 season. So you submit the full character profile, and your character will be added to the official canon, and we'll have a Press Pass Wiki page within 96 business hours. All submissions are subject to human review. You join the server and start workshopping your characters with other early adopters. Once a lore chapter has at least one lore wrangler, which 7 pieces are required, and at least 16 lore producers, it can run all 7 lore parties for that specific adventure. For the best experience for all, we suggest ensuring all 288 character spots are filled for each lore chapter. Each lore party takes on a section of that season's schedule, and where players will roleplay through scenarios led by the lore wranglers and lore masters in that chapter. Some scenarios will not have anything to do with sports, which is okay. They exist in this connected sport punk reality, and that's what makes it fun. A vital rule: always, 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 yes and source material. Do not retcon, crumble, or acidify details that other creators have officially canonized in the Press Pass lore. Any story interactions that significantly change the nature of the source material should ethically include the lore producers involved in creating the source. Adding significant material to other characters' arcs without their lore producers' involvement won't be allowed, and any minor material must strictly adhere to the biography of the character. Presenting bias and opinions about material in another character's arc through your character's story is welcomed because drama. Stay grounded in our sport punk shared reality. Otherworldly elements not grounded in this shared sport punk reality may be rendered in the canon as exclusive umwelt of that specific character. Umwelt is a term coined by Jakob van Uxel, a semiotician, an Estonian semiotician. This is before cognitive linguistics existed as a field, but this guy is one of the grandfathers of it. Umwelt, which is spelled Umwelt, is the subjective lived reality of the character, not shared by anybody else. If your Umwelt features a Pegasus dragon that dunks from the Trebuchet arc, that's hilarious, but it only exists in the mind of that specific character. Pegasus dragons don't exist in the sport punk reality unless that's a semi-professional hockey team. Just like real life, spiritual and magical experiences are personal and open to interpretation and being shared by others. Each team and atmosphere has these ingredients sewn in. So now you level up your characters through roleplay. Each character you create has a character tree. This character tree has 3 branches, each with 20 facets, bringing a total of 60 facets to level. I'll explain this when we get to an actual character, but here's the character tree. I'm not going to read all these facets out, but here's, you can look on the wiki and look at it yourself. Now, when we're not quite there yet. We're still in analog mode, but once we're able to pay our dev team, every character that's registered will receive a press pass gamepad. It's literally a press pass that you receive as a non-fungible token. It's interactive. It'll have your character. It'll have art. The press pass will look like it's appropriate for the era of the team with the team colors and logos. It'll have the bio of your character, and it'll also have a deed built into the press pass that assigns you ownership of that character. Now, our franchise licenses that character immutably. So that means is that the character exists in the franchise, and we're able to use it for anything that we're doing. If the character generates some sort of monetary value, you as the creator earn commission. Now, outside of sports, you can do whatever the hell you want with the character. All right, you want to put it in your comic, go for it. You don't have to pay any. You don't have to do it. There's no additional fees. There's no additional licensing agreements. As long as it has nothing to do with sports, you're good. You want to make a movie with your character going to the moon or something? Have fun. Have a blast. You can use the lore that's generated, but just keep anything having to do with sports in the sport punk universe of Press Pass All Access. Okay, let's talk about the combat system in the roleplay game. This is super fun. A conflict interaction, you call them conflict interactions. A conflict interaction in the lore game is the combat system that drives the story forward and allows players to shape the direction of the lore. Conflict interactions occur when 2 or more characters disagree on anything at all. Conflict interactions also occur anytime a character exhibits self-righteous prescriptivism, aka SRP, that challenges the story's direction. Role players in a story beat, which are 12 to 16 players focused on one story arc, can trigger a conflict interaction on any disagreement, no matter how benign. Lore producers engage in a competition to determine which outcome shapes the official canon of the characters, the team, and the Press Pass All Access story world. The conflict interaction combat system in the lore game was designed by cognitive linguist and filmmaker Kimani Okearah, the creator and showrunner of Press Pass. That's me. I'm just reading things, so there you go, pumping myself up. Key details on conflict interactions. Each character has 3 branches with 20 facets in each branch. Only 4 facets in each branch may exceed past the level cap of 77, and those characters have earned a star level facet, so you can become a star in that facet. And then past that, only 2 facets in each branch may level past the star cap of 99, where characters have earned the superstar level. And the superstar level cap is 121. So the highest you can get in any facet is level 121, which would honestly take probably 15 seasons of roleplay. So just keep that in mind when if you're serious about leveling up your character and maximizing any of these facets or a few of these facets, you'll have to roleplay quite a bit of lore, and that's great. You can make this an anchor experience of your social life, and that's kind of the idea, to actually have human interaction in our social lives. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? So all characters involved in the conflict interaction roll their specific level cap in the fulcrum facet, which is the same for all participants. No multipliers, no fancy angles. Levels 1 through 5 in a facet will always roll a level 5 cap. So it's basically like rolling a 5-sided die. Characters use a random number generator to determine the outcome of their rolls, with higher results leading to victory. So E success B could be a level 50 productivity, and I might be a level 2 productivity. So I would roll a 1 through 5, and E success B would roll a 1 through 50. He has a much higher chance of winning. He has 10 times the chance of winning. But he might roll a 3, and I might roll a 5, and I would win. But if he rolls over a 5, then I lose. So we have a system that we have a balanced system in place, because new characters would be hopeless to win against established characters without a balanced system. The win produced by the conflict interaction shapes the immediate direction of the lore. Conflict interactions explain why things happen, but they cannot change determined canonical details, aka story cement. The lore game always builds with a yes and respect towards the previous material. Game scores, playoff seeding, team names, and other professional sports and Lore World Championship winners are examples of such story cement. The winning characters can choose one facet from the sideline facets to add a level to as a result of their conflict interaction win. Up to 5 characters can combine their levels to form a faction in a conflict interaction. A minimum of 2 characters is needed to form a faction. So up to 5 factions can participate in a conflict interaction, which means that any conflict can have 5 different outcomes that people are battling for. Any character in the story beat can choose to vouch for a character in a conflict interaction, forming a faction. Now, vouching characters always add their precise and exact level cap to the faction's roll, even if it's just 1. All characters who vouch for another must not vouch for others the following 3 conflict interactions so the game can have some flow. Any character triggering 3 conflict interactions in a row must not be involved in the next 2 conflict interactions. So that's so everybody has a opportunity to create lore and impact the direction of the story. All of the characters in an adventure. So just to real quick kind of decipher this. Let's say that E Success B and myself, our 2 characters, get in a conflict interaction where E Success B wants to drive the team bus to a game. His character wants to drive the team bus to a game, and I think we need to take a boat. So what happens in the lore? Okay, so everybody else who's witnessing this conflict, they vote on what facet they think that conflict is based on. So let's just assume there's 14 other characters that are in this conflict, that are in the adventure. 2 of them decide to vouch for myself. One character decides to vouch for me, and another character decides to vouch for E Success B. So that leaves 12 characters that are actually voting for the facet that the conflict is based on. We're going to say that it's flexibility in the skill branch. So skill is the authentic value of labor, and flexibility is the level of adaptability to change. And we're going to say that E Success B, you are a level 13 flexibility, and I'm going to be a level 9 flexibility. So let me go here, and I'm going to go to the random number generator. And I'm going to roll a 1 through 13. If you're watching on stream, you can see that this is exactly what it. Yeah, I'll roll the lower number first. I'm going to roll a 1 through 9 for myself. I got a 4. I'm not feeling too confident. Okay, we're going to roll a 1 through 13 for E Success. Oh, you got a 1! I won! You got a 1, brother! Sorry, I don't mean to gloat. I wasn't feeling too confident with my 4. But ouch. You got a 1. So now we're taking a boat to the game. That's now the official canon. And because I won, I now get to choose a facet to level up. So the other 12 characters, let's say 4 of them voted for flexibility, 2 of them voted for efficiency, 2 of them voted for hustle, 2 of them voted for fortitude, 1 of them voted for gratitude, and another one voted for power. So the runners-up would be focus, hustle, and fortitude. Those are the sideline facets of the conflict interaction. So since I won, I get to add +1 level to one of those facets. Hustle, focus, and fortitude. And I'm going to just choose fortitude, level of strength in tough emotional situations. So now I add a level to fortitude, and I move from level 1 to level 2. If that was my level cap going into the conflict. Which is awesome. So that's how the level up system works, and then we just keep on moving the story along. So now we're taking a boat to the game. Okay, and now E6SB says, I want to stop to go fishing. Another player says, no, let's have the whole team hop out of the boat and go for a swim for good cardio. And then another character says, you know what? No, we need to get to the game as soon as possible. So now we have 3 different ways the conflict can go. So those 3 characters involved in the conflict. Now there's 13 characters left that can vouch or vote. We're going to have 6 characters vouch this time. 2 characters vouch for me. I want to go straight to the game. 2 characters vouch for E6SB, who wants to stop and go fishing. And then 2 characters vouch for Sally McBally, who's the third role player in this instance. And they wanted to have the whole team hop outside the boat and go for a swim. That would leave, so that's now 9 characters that are not voting. If you're vouching, you can't vote. That leaves 5 characters left to vote. And there are 2 of them vote for discovery in the decision branch, and then the other 3 each vote for a different one. So one votes for elegance, another votes for panache, and the last votes for mercy. So that means the fulcrum facet is, what did I say? I don't remember what I said just now. Oh, my brain's farting after talking this much. We'll just say it was courage. I don't think it was courage, but we'll just say it was courage. The fulcrum facet's courage, level of belief in positive outcomes. We'll say E6SB, you're a level 35 courage. My character is a level 2 courage. And Sally McBally's character is a level 12 courage. So we're going to go back to our random number generator. We're going to do a 1 through 5 for me first. And I got a 1. So I'm pretty screwed there. We're going to do a 1 through 12 for Sally. Oh man, that means we're not going straight to the game. She got a 6, okay? And then we're going to do a 1 through 35 for E6SB. Oh, he also got a 6. Okay, then them 2 roll again. What are the chances of that? Oh, Sally got a 12. Ooh. Go back to E6SB, 1 through 35. Oh, you got a 9, brother. Oh, crap. Sally won, even though she's much lower level than you in courage. So that means the entire team gets out of the boat and we're going for a swim before this game. That's what that means. It's official canon now. She won the conflict interaction. And because the sideline facets were power, elegance, and mercy, she gets to add 1 level to one of those choices. She's going to add +1 to mercy. Now, the people that vouched also get to level up. So the 2 characters... Ooh, I didn't even explain that. Let's say every vouch character were all level 1. Okay, so that would mean Sally would be rolling a 1 through 14 if she was level 12. E6SB would be rolling a 1 through 37 if he was level 35, and I would be rolling a 1 through 7. We'll just say the outcomes were the same. But now Sally, her friend Marissa, and their other friend Clarissa... crap, did this... I'm back. When did it cut me off? If you're watching on YouTube, my Twitter space just sort of died on me. Okay, so Clarissa, Sally, and Marissa are the faction that won this conflict interaction with a 1 through 14 roll, and they got a 9, and then E6SB had a 1 through 37 roll, and he got a 6. I had a 1 through 7 roll, and I got a 1. So they win because they had a higher level in that courage facet, And now each of those characters gets to pick one of power, what did we say? Elegance and mercy. So let's say Sally levels up in power, Marissa levels up in elegance, and Clarissa levels up in mercy. They each can choose they each have their choice of those three, of the three sideline facets. They can all choose the same one, but they each have their individual power of choice. So that's how the conflict interaction system works. It's really fun, honestly. And when we get to a certain point, it'll be much more seamless as we build the systems of automation for this. But that's why we need early adopters, so we can actually get a good sense of the customer experience before we build those systems of automation, and we can address any problems in the customer experience ahead of time before they're built into the systems. So there you go. That's the conflict interaction system. The lore game and the conflict interactions, everything that we're doing here is our proprietary IP at Let Me Out Productions. So if you're out there planning a role-playing game and you want to use this combat system, just reach out. It's no big deal. All right. Frankly, buy some tokens. that'll help the discussion. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about some of the key lingo that we use. So MCO is modern country of origin. That's how we address the countries people are from, even if we're all the way back in 1939, because we, the role players, the lore producers, are actually in 2012. We're in the modern era. So the modern country of origin is how we describe where people are from. So if you're from what was it, the French protectorate of Cambodia and Laos back in the day, you'd just be from Cambodia or Laos, because that's the modern country of origin. We call 3-pointers 3-bouchées. They're actually worth 4 points if they're shot backwards. The free throws are called free-to-pults, and they're always taken with a 2-step running start. And really, they should really do that in actual basketball. That'd be so much more interesting to watch if you're watching free throws, if they had to take a 2-step running start for the jump shot. It's a fun way to play basketball, too, implementing these rules. We call off pine is off the bench. A triple-double is called a triple stack. The skinny angle is the corner of a basketball court. So if you're shooting from like the baseline corners, you're shooting from the skinny angle. The porridge is the area under the basket. It's what's traditionally called the key. The chimney is the elbow area of the basketball court. Free throw line extended is the chimney. When vaulting is playing such good defense, the opponent is shut down. Then there's some symbology here that helps people guide themselves through the wiki. So a video key. A lore meme is a video clip discovered by the press for the Press Pass Season 1 archive. Submissions must be 7 seconds or less. Lore producers must own and maintain at least one edition of either the version 1 or version 2 collectible in Press Pass Season 1 to qualify. Or you could be sponsored to play by a lore master, somebody with 25 pieces or more, and then it's really up to them what they want the content cap to be. If they want 7 seconds submitted or if they want 5 minutes submitted, it's up to the lore master. A lore scene is a longer story discovered for the Press Pass Season 1 archive. Submissions must be 5 minutes or less. Lore producers must own and maintain at least 25 editions of any combination of the V1 and V2 collectibles and Press Pass Season 1 to qualify. And if we're going to use a lore scene in an episode, we have the right to remix it. So we're pretty much never going to use a full 5-minute scene in an episode, but we might use a full minute from it. We might cut around different parts to make it more efficient. And if you're creating that content, you're the one who's earning the commission. If you've sponsored a lore producer to play with your property and you're the property owner, you actually earn a commission off of that market position. So the property owner receives 15%, and then the sponsored player gets 35%. Let's talk about the types of footage. So OFTHU is original footage. Cast member must appropriately reflect the intersections of the character. So basically, if you look like myself or E6SB, we look very different from each other, but if the character looks like me, then I'd be right to play the character. You know what I mean? If the character looks like E6SB, then he'd be right to play the character. If you don't look like your character, try to find a friend that does and cast them in your meme. That's, it's things that these are things that you do together. And if they are in your meme, then they share that commission too. So they should have a Ethereum wallet that's registered to the sources of derivation for that meme. The goal for original footage is always quality and authenticity. So cast members are known as OFU performers and are first call for character appearance in the show if age and intersection appropriate. So I mean, yeah, you can you film your kids in these, but if we end up using that character in the show, it may not be your kid. Maybe it's going to be somebody who's age and intersection appropriate and era appropriate. So if your character's like you have a kid character back in like the 70s, well, in 2012 they'd be something like 40 or 50 years old. If you're a producer or a filmmaker, your time is best maximized on OFU creation. For the most creative freedom, please collect at least 25 editions of any combination of the V1 and V2 tokens and press pass Season 1. So that brings us to the next style of content. NACCO! N-A-C-C-O. Reenactment coverage. Cast member does not have to reflect intersections of character. Reenactment coverage, also known as NACCO footage, otherwise also known as NACCO, footage and format standards are agreed upon by lore producers on the media day of lore chapter. The goal for NACCO is always humor and opportunity. If you or your friend / family member, colleague / mortal enemy are going to appear in a limited amount of content, your time is likely best spent on NACCO creation. If you're a big troll like our showrunner is, your time is likely maximized on NACCO creation for purposes of creative freedom. Also, NACCO is heaps amount of fun to say out loud. And the last one is artistic reenactments, so which we call RNAC. If a vocal performance is necessary, the cast member must appropriately reflect vocal intersections of the character, if possible and feasible, work with the original footage performer. Artistic reenactment, also known as RNAC, the footage format, style, and themes are agreed upon by lore producers on the media day of the lore chapter. The goal for RNAC is always style and fun. If you're an animator, artist, sound engineer, claymation enthusiast, photo essayist, and or prospective sports media professional, your time is best maximized on RNAC creation. So if you want to do like one of those sports science things, you know what I mean, or you want to be a media member in the 1970s talking about a player in the 1930s, then you're going to want to do that's actually reenactment coverage. But if you're going to go to the park and pretend to hit the game winner and have that be your meme, that would be an artistic reenactment. If you're going to animate that would be an artistic reenactment. So it's wide open for the types of footage you're able to add to the archive. Wow, I got through that whole thing. Okay, great news. That brings me to the BSFA, the Basketball Syndicate of America. It's funny, on the captions for the Twitter space, when I say BSFA, it says Bees Affair. It's rich. Okay, let me get into character here. The Basketball Syndicate of America, aka the BSFA, is a fictional professional basketball collective operating internationally in the universe of Press Pass All Access. Also known as the Syndicate, the collective is composed of 30 teams, 28 in the United States and 2 in Canada, as the show begins in 2012, and the Press Pass television streaming series. In the primary television/streaming series Press Pass, the show focuses on the sports media professionals covering the Sacramento Majesty on the team's journey to become the historically worst team of all time in the Basketball Syndicate. Founded in 1939, the Basketball Syndicate of America was launched shortly after the Black Actors Guild of America, formerly known as the Negro Actors Guild of America. In mission alignment with the Black Actors Guild, the Basketball Syndicate of America formed as an attempt to change the way Americans who are socially defined as black due to their visual appearance were portrayed in the global media exports of the United States. The BSFA was launched as a mixed-gender professional basketball league, founded by a black Haitian woman and a black American man as business partners with zero on professional involvement. These original founders wanted to establish a professional sports system that celebrates the many gendered warrior ancestry shared by much of the world. The Black Actors Guild was founded by Freddie Washington, Ethel Waters, Noble Sissel, Marion Anderson, William Handy, Robert P. Braddock, Duke Ellington, Edna Thomas, Paul Robeson, Robert Earl Jones, Louis Armstrong, A.C. Powell Jr., Frank Wilson, and Rosamond Johnson. The Basketball Syndicate of America was founded by Gaius C. Bolin, a black lawyer from upstate New York, and Jacqueline Doucet, a former general in the Haitian Freedom Force, fighting against the 1915 U.S. invasion of Haiti until 1933. Doucet was a survivor of both the 1919 bombing and the 1929 Abbas-le-Misere massacre in her hometown of Les Cayes. A personal friend of Charlemagne Perrault, Jacqueline Doucet knew to fight the revolution where it counted most, the hearts, minds, and souls of the public. Doucet immigrated to New York City in 1937, a few short years after the U.S. occupation of Haiti ended. Inspired by events of the 1936 Olympic Games, Jacqueline Doucet saw a pathway to ripen the hearts and minds of the American consuming public. While in New York City, she met Gaius C. Bolin, a lawyer from upstate New York. After hearing the pitch, Bolin connected Doucet to various influences around the country, including Roosevelt himself. A healthy American coalition of different backgrounds provided the baseline capital for the syndicate. Bolin and Doucet became the founding presidents of the Yonkers Highness, one of the original teams in the Bisafé. The Basketball Syndicate of America plays 60 games each season. Each team is owned and governed by 101 to 104 interested parties. They're called the Governors 100 Club. There's 1 to 4 presidents, and the rest of them are team governors. 10 of those team governors are general managers. So general manager decisions are always made by group consensus of 10 general managers. If you're doing a lore chapter and there's only one general manager in the lore chapter, then they have a lot of power. So if you're going to register an ecosystem professional, and you really want to impact team direction and that sort of thing, definitely get in early, buy your version 1 collectible, and register a general manager to one of these teams right away. The playoff system is called the Lore War. The winner is rewarded with the Bisafé Lore War Championship Cup, aka the Doucet Bolin, named after the two founders, which is pronounced Doucet Bolin. The Basketball Syndicate has 30 teams in the year that Press Pass Season 1 begins. The Syndicate, which is also called Press Pass Here We Stick. Here we stick! The Syndicate is organized into an East Side and a West Side, each with 15 teams. The East Side teams. The Allentown Oats were established in Allentown, Pennsylvania in 1939. We also have the Boston Potatoes in Boston, Massachusetts, 1939. The Columbus Dutch from Columbus, Ohio. The Manhattan Pantaloons from Harlem, New York City. The Pittsburgh Gridlock from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the Yonkers Highness from Yonkers, New York. The West Side teams feature the Calgary Mounted Elbow from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The Chicago Red Beans from Chicago, Illinois. The Los Angeles Wet Fountains were founded in Los Angeles, California. The Minnesota Menace were founded in St. Paul, Minnesota. The Nashville Whiskers were founded in Nashville, Tennessee. And the San Francisco Buoys were founded in San Francisco, California. So in the teams of the Basketball Syndicate of America in the modern era, there's a lot more, and some of those teams went through, I've spent 7 years writing the lore of this thing, so we're having a good time. My nose is a little stuffy. Give me a second. That was sudden. Okay. So you can look at the team guide. Let me put that in the chat. Alright, so I put the team guide in the chat. The colorways for all these teams have already been, those are already established. And then also, this is story cement details that never change. So that means that role players can't change team names, they can't change colorways. The main reason for that is because we don't want any results that actually intersect with real professional sports in any sort of way that would get us in trouble. So, we don't need a team. We don't want the Manhattan Pantaloons being called the New York Lakers. That doesn't make any sense, and it'll get us in trouble. So that's story cement that is set in stone. But everything else, the team culture, what happened in each season of team history, that's entirely up to you guys. The championships are also story cement, which is interesting, and the playoff seeding is also story cement. So what that means is that we are looking for the lore to explain why these teams were good and why these teams were bad. And the characters will literally be competing to establish these details using the conflict interaction system. So you do whatever you think is going to be the most fun. You join a championship team lore, you join a playoff team lore, you join a bad team lore, you join the worst team lore. All of it's going to be a blast because you can explain why the team was good or bad from any sort of character position, and that's sort of the challenge. trying to establish the direction of the lore using your character and the conflict interaction system. Super fun. So, team guide, look through the teams. There's a couple of them that are really funny. We have, maybe I'll read these out loud. Sure, let's do it. I've never done that before on one of these spaces, so I don't know what happened. I got stuffy all of a sudden. Maybe I'm just talking too much. Give me 1 second. 1 second, stream. And we're back. All right, well, we'll go through all 30 teams that are in the main show, and I won't explain the progression of teams and the expansions and all of that. All of that's on the wiki, but I don't want to take too much time, but we'll get through it. In the modern era, the BSFA is still in the east side and the west side. There's 15 teams on the east side, and there's 15 teams on the west side. The east side is separated into 3 groups. We have the East Coast group, which features the Boston Potatoes. Their team name never changes. We have the Bronx Scream, which were originally the Hudson Rims from 1948 to 1996. In the mid-90s, a famous Hollywood director buys the team, and he changes the team name to the Bronx Scream. And it's that... I'll just betray the secret. If you say it too fast and in a Bronx accent, it sounds like you're saying the Bronze Cream. Bronze Cream. We have the Manhattan Pantaloons, the Nova Scotia Frosties, established in 1988. They're one of the newest teams when we start the season. And the Philadelphia Salt Oats, which were originally the Allentown Oats, but they moved to Philadelphia in 1963, and they changed their name to the Salt Oats, because Philadelphia was known for packing salt and oats during the Revolutionary War. Those were the 2 goods that sustained the soldiers of the Revolution, of the American Revolution. And Philadelphia was a key point for packing these materials, and they shipped a lot of salt that came from Pittsburgh and a lot of oats that came from Allentown and surrounding farm areas. So we moved down to the Lakes and Plains group on the east side, which featured the Chicago Redliners, the Cleveland Dutch, which were formerly the Chicago Redliners started off as the Chicago Red Beans, and in 1971 they changed their name to the Chicago Redliners. In the Cleveland Dutch started off as the Columbus Dutch, and then in 1981 they changed their name they moved to Cleveland and they become the Cleveland Dutch. And then we have the Detroit Berries, established in 1965, named after family friend Berry Gordy, the father of Motown. The Detroit Berries, which all these teams have nicknames too, so that their nickname is Sweetroit. We have the Iowa Happy Syrup. Okay, the Iowa Happy Syrup. And then the last team in the Lakes and Plains group is the Wisconsin Mad Moose. And they play out of Madison, Wisconsin. In the Atlantic Southeast group, we have the Atlanta Caucasians, formerly known as the Georgia Georgians. Then we have the Carolina Stormhogs, the Jacksonville Sawgrass, the Miami Crypto, and the Washington Government, which were formerly known as the Calgary Mounted Elbow. They moved to Washington, D.C. in 1975, and they changed their name to the Washington Government. And so there's a whole Cold War story arc as to why that happened. I'm so excited to be sharing this stuff I've been working on for so long with you guys. The West Side is separated into 3 groups. We have the West Coast group, the Pacific Northwest group, and the South Central group. The West Coast group features the Bay Area Traffic, which were formerly known as the Pittsburgh Gridlock from 1939 to 1963. In 1963, they moved to Oakland, and they become the East Bay Gridlock. In 1994, they moved to San Francisco, and they become the Bay Area Traffic. We also have the Los Angeles Wet Fountains, which they were established in 1939. They've never changed their name, the name of the team. Then we have the Malibu Yachts of Los Angeles. They play out of Malibu, but they call themselves the Malibu Yachts of Los Angeles. They were formerly the San Francisco Buoys. They moved in 1962 following a huge scandal to Long Beach, where they became the Long Beach Floaters. And then they changed their name in 1974 to the Long Beach Yachts because the Long Beach Floaters were not a very strong brand name. Oh, man. All right. We have the Phoenix cacti, which were established in 1948 as the Flagstaff Hosh. Hosh is the Navajo word for cactus. And then they moved to Phoenix from Flagstaff in 1969 and become the Phoenix cacti. We have the Sacramento Majesty, which began as the Yonkers Highness. In 1957, they leave Yonkers, New York, and they go to Omaha, Nebraska, where they become the Omaha Highness. In 1971, they leave Omaha for Jackson, Mississippi, where they become the Mississippi Majesty. And then in 1984, they leave Jackson, Mississippi, and move to Sacramento, California, where they become the Sacramento Majesty. And then the last group here, we have the Denver Treasure, which were established in 1948, the Portland Freebirds, which were established in 1965, the St. Paul Youpers, which were formerly the Minnesota Menace, from 1939 to 1944. In 1944, they changed their name to the St. Paul Youpers because of a tragedy that happened in World War II. We have the Utah Slam Poets, which were established in 1948 as the Brooklyn Slam Poets, but in 1980 they moved from Brooklyn, New York to Salt Lake City, Utah. Just that alone is really funny. I don't know. You probably have to be American kind of understand that one. But anyway, we got the Vancouver Gas Punks that play out of Vancouver, Canada. They originally started off in 1941 as the Seattle Loud, and then in 2002 they leave Seattle and move north to Vancouver, which is about maybe an hour and a half north of Seattle, maybe even less than. And to our Seattle fans, the Seattle Loud will return. We have an expansion planned in the future of the BSFA, where we will expand to 36 teams overall, and the Seattle Loud will be included. And then you guys will actually get to vote on a few of the expansion teams. There's 2 of them that are fixed details, and then 4 of them are teams that you guys get to vote on as property owners and as participants in the lore. Then the last group here is the South Central group. We have the Austin Whiplash, established in 1941 as the Dallas Whiplash, but in 1964 they moved to Austin. I wonder why. We'll leave that one alone. We have the Dallas Rodeo, established in 1988. We have the Houston Beyonders, established in 1965 as the Dallas Neighbors. In 1977, they moved to Houston, Texas, and they become the Houston Beyonders. So we've had 3 teams that started in Dallas, and 2 of them moved to other places in Texas. That's just funny to me. We have the Nashville Whiskers, established in 1939. They did move to Murfreesboro, Tennessee in 1978, but in 1993 they moved back to Nashville. And then the last team here is the New Orleans Trombones, established 1948. And every team except for the Dallas Rodeo has won a championship, at least one championship. The most successful teams in the lore are the St. Paul Youpers, which have won 6 championships, the Manhattan Pantaloons, which have also won 6 championships. And anybody else worth mentioning? There's a couple 3 championship winners here. The Washington Government / Calgary Mounted Elbow, they won 4 championships. Same with the Los Angeles Wet Fountains, they have 4 trophies. The Seattle Loud / Vancouver Gas Punks have 4 trophies. And the Nashville Whiskers have 4 trophies. So you can look at the team guide to see, what teams are more successful. And then, when these teams come to be. So there's the BSFA team guide. And, yeah. Honestly, y'all, I'm pretty tired, and there's not enough people here to role play. And then setting up ChatGPT to give us a scenario takes a bit of time. Last time I did it ahead of time, and that worked out really well. But this time, I'm going to probably wrap this up, because it's 5:30. I've been doing this for 2 hours now. And I just really cherish the opportunity to explain this to you guys. So, here, we'll go through the lore producer here. A lore producer is a role in the Press Pass Season 1 lore game, and it refers to individuals, groups, or platforms that greenlight the show by collecting and collaborating in the scalable intellectual property puzzle. To become a lore producer, an individual or organization must collect at least one version 1 or version 2 digital collectible in the Press Pass. By doing so, the player gains the right to participate in the Top Brass DAO and earn rewards for collaboration with the project and Let Me Out Productions Collective. Create a character to add to a lore chapter in the lore game and register that character with the Top Brass DAO. A page will be added to this very wiki once the character has been approved by the community and or the showrunner or lens face. That's me. attend at least one party in the lore chapter that the character is registered in. Be prepared to role play as the character or invite a friend, colleague, or community member to role play that character for you. Now, if you're going to do that, you have to have at least 25 pieces. Okay, their contributions are considered sources of derivation and will feature a collaboration issuance across many value generated. So that's the leasing mechanic that we have built into this property for letting other people use your property. You have to have at least 25 pieces to allow that, though. So then you create a moment for the official canon by interacting with other role players. You can create many moments, and then when the lore chapter's wrapped, you choose a moment to meme, and you go film a meme about the moment, and you submit it to the archive. And then it's completely up to us at Let Me Out Productions as to how to build those into the story. We're not playing favorites. We're just going to go for like whatever suits the content suits our story the best. Each individual or organization that has between 1 and 6 version. I won't read all this because I already did all this. Yep. We already went through all this, but here there's the additional. We are looking for a co-producer. Co-producer would rapidly move this product, which means you're going to buy 10,000 version 1 collectibles, and you can buy some version 2 collectibles to sprinkle in, so you have maybe a contest you can run for your community that where the contest winners can play as the version 2 collectibles, but everybody else is playing as notable fan or ecosystem professional. And if you have 10,000 pieces, you may participate in the marketing department for Press Pass Season 1, where the goal is to create advertisements through the micro-arcs generated by the lore producers through the memes. So if you, the property owner of 10,000 pieces, attend and contribute to at least 2 marketing meetings a month for 9 months or until the project wraps in full, you've qualified for the co-producer credit, which comes with a special commission for that specific collaboration. And then we also have the executive producer position. Hey there, brother. Akash, how you doing? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not follow you the other day. I love your bio, disruptive figure. For those on YouTube, we have a community member in our Twitter space named Akash, and his bio says disruptive figure. The 8th achievement and the final tier of collection here is the 53,091 piece position. That qualifies the property owner to be an executive producer. And that's a 95% voting weight, 95% of the bounty, and there's a graduated collaborative role there where the executive producers are able to participate in the Producer's Corner for Press Pass Season 1, where their specific goal is to provide their creative notes at specific project benchmarks. So the executive producer provides at least 12 sets of notes against 12 first draft episode scripts and 12 sets of notes against 12 rough cut episode timelines. So you just need to provide 1 set of notes for each thing. And then you've qualified for the executive producer credit, which comes with its own graduated collaborative commission. So lore producers that contribute content to the archive have potential to earn revenue from their content through 4 streams. Potential use in Season 1's main content, honestly, can be less than 1% of the archive that's used in main content of the show. The best of the best, the funniest of the funniest, that kind of thing. Potential use in Season 1 advertisements. There can be 10% of the archive we'll use for ads. Once again, best of the best, funniest of the funniest. The production quality doesn't matter to me because that can be part of the story, as I've demonstrated with Lensface. Production quality can absolutely be a fundamental part of what your character is doing and how the lore is created. So, as a linguist, I'm a descriptivist, which means that language and meaning is a collaboration, and there are no performance standards. There are no performance standards. If you understand the meaning that is intended to be delivered, then the point of communication has been accomplished. It is that simple. Everything else is self-righteousness. Oh, you spelled that wrong. Do you understand what they said? You did? Okay. Who cares? Who cares about the spelling? Everything was spelled different 1,000 years ago. Every single word was spelled differently 1,000 years ago. It's so subjective. Okay. All right. Let's go through the leasing mechanic. Let Me Out Productions allows any characters or group, any collector or group with 25 or more editions to access our community whitelist feature. The community whitelist allows the property owner to extend character creation rights, roleplay, and meme registration to their community members at a maximum of 1 character with up to 5 lore chapters per person. That when I say 1 character, they get 1 main character to roleplay, and they're locked into roleplaying that character. They can use the additions to come up with 4 other characters that can augment the story of their 1 main character, like siblings, relatives, employees, bosses, that kind of, side characters. And those characters will exist in the canon. And if they want to eventually buy their own property, they can actually hop back into one of their other characters and roleplay that guy into canon, or that lady into canon, or that NB into canon. The product owner receives 35% of the commission they would normally receive, while the sponsored lore producer receives 65% of the commission. So buy 10,000 characters, become eligible to claim a co-producer role, and buy 53,091 characters to become eligible to claim an executive producer role. We also have different ecosystem things that pop up from time to time, like Wikipedia, like the wiki maintenance of what I'm looking at on YouTube, Reddit moderation, stream moderation, syndicated episode moderation, etc. So if your platform is a role-play streaming platform like Dimension 20, and you'd like to play the Press Pass Season 1 lore game, we have a specific end streamer license agreement and end user license agreement we expect enforced at all times. Further, it's going to be in your best interest to secure all 288 characters in the lore chapter for both your playing table and to maximize audience participation while you stream. And that's awesome. So like Dimension 20 out there, you guys could hop into the 1939 lore chapters, grab, say, all characters of the Chicago Red Beans, and have a blast explaining the lore with your main table and then the audience that watches you. Whitelist the first 250 people to come in that sign up to be a part of that, and then just let them know that you're going to be streaming. And that's why it's the best way to do it, because that means you already have the rights to use those other individuals built into that arrangement. Yeah. Am I getting sick all of a sudden? It's wild. Goodness. Gross, right? All right. So I'll read this, actually. The end streamer license agreement and user license agreement. We reserve the right to update this as we go along, but we hope we don't have to very often. There's the direct language of the agreement below, and then there's the spirit of it, which reflects our community. If you're here for the direct language and looking to exploit the spirit of the agreement, there's a million intellectual properties out there that create value from without damaging our community. Okay, please respect our community by respecting the rules of our ecosystem. With that in mind, enjoy and have fun. I'm so sorry. I don't know what is happening. I think I'm getting sick literally on stream in real time. That is nuts. You are required to use our VoIP partner, Toucan.events, along with the Top Brass DAO as the digital interface for running the lore chapter. Presence on our Reddit and Discord are not necessary for lore producers, but they do augment the experience for every user. Official canon lore masters are required to maintain a Discord server presence because I don't like herding cats. Okay? So if you are in charge, if you're a lore wrangler or a lore master and you're planning adventures, and you're guiding an adventure or planning a series of adventures for any of our lore, you have to be on our Discord. Because, like I said, I don't like herding cats. Streamers must have at least... same thing if you're prospect. Okay, if you're prospect employee of Press Pass Season 1 for when we actually start production, or a prospective actor in Press Pass Season 1, you have to be on our Discord. I may have plugged you in. I may have asked you to be a part of this. I may have plugged you in and attached you to a role or to a position. Don't leave the Discord, because if you leave that Discord, you're leaving that attachment. And that's happened maybe 3 times throughout these 2.5 years we've been shelved. Okay. Any revenues over 500,000 United States dollars per year will issue or a reflective value in whatever currency, will issue 7.5% of net value produced on the market of all revenues produced to the Let Me Out Productions Collective. Additionally, 2.5% net value produced on the market of all revenues produced to a charity, the streaming you'll basically pay 2.5% net value to a charity that you choose to affiliate with, provided the charity is vetted and approved by our collective members. We encourage all platforms to issue 2.5% of their streaming revenues to a public budget dedicated towards housing our unsheltered neighbors by buying and repurposing properties that would otherwise be classified as commercial blight. So overall, that brings you to 87.5% of the streaming revenue would go to your platform if you make over $500,000 per year from streaming. If you don't make more than $500,000 per year from streaming, I don't think there's any sort of payout to us. So, further, no matter what the revenue measurement is, all streaming platforms / monetized use platforms must issue 20% of the revenue earned with each and every player in the game, based on measurement of presence and impact at wrap of lore chapter, which happens after 7 meetings called lore parties. You must allow Let Me Out Productions or one of our Web3 partners to guide your infrastructure installation to achieve this system. So that just means, like, let's say Dimension 20 picks up all 288 characters for the 1939 Chicago Red Beans. They have their main table, play with players and coaches and a few fans. And then there, the first 255 audience members or whatever it is that come in, they're agreeing to share, they're agreeing to set aside 20% of the streaming revenue and share it with those audience members that are whitelisted to play. Because we don't do exploitation at Let Me Out Productions, which would move their take down to 67.5% before taxes. Still very fun. Okay. I need to take care of my nose real quick. I'm getting sick in real time. Just give me a second. I gotta wrap this up soon, y'all, because I really do think I'm getting sick in real time. This is nuts. We're producing a family-friendly show that must disguise adult humor in clever ways. I call that the SpongeBob rule. And we're not looking for content that traumatizes the human body in any way, shape, form, or facet. Additionally, we're not looking for content that is bigoted towards a minoritized human intersection unless there's a specific intentional story behind those choices. Additionally, we're not looking for content that includes nudity. Like I said, appropriate for ages 11 and up. All sport punk material, like fictional teams from other sports, must be discussed with and approved by the showrunner before any content is built around those ideas. Many sporting brands are in existence in the real world, and as such, our fictional branding must be carefully designed against infringing intersections. The showrunner has a plan for allowing lore producers to contribute these details, but they must be discussed ahead of the lore chapter, and all players must understand this rule. So, for example, one of our collaborators suggested that one of the American football teams be called the Orcas. Perfect. Okay, so now we have the Los Angeles Killer Whales, or the Los Angeles Orcas, as one of the official teams in the NAMFU, the National Association of Modern Football. And that is the Season 2 lore game. So, if you're down to do this for football, but not for basketball, then you're going to have to wait for Season 2. All characters, story arcs, and material developed must be registered using our Tokenomics system if the desire is to contribute to the official canonical lore. As long as the streaming platform owns at least 25 collectibles in Season 1, the platform may stream non-canonical versions of this experience with their own twists and turns, provided they do not try to impact the official canon without participating in the system as designed. So yeah, if you're D20 and you play the official lore game over the 2 weeks, you just want to keep on using our system for your own streaming content, and you want to have to at least 25 pieces, go for it. Have at it, Hoss. Same rules apply, okay, for the issuance of net value, the licensing issuance, but go for it. And like I said earlier, if you're trying to use our combat system for your own lore game, or you're trying to build a lore game and use elements of ours, just talk to me about it. We're super flexible here about that sort of thing. In fact, the entire baseline puzzle model I released as open source, and it set the market on fire with all these folks doing collaborative storytelling products, but with one constant in that they never credit us, and that's because of one individual. Anyway, so in Season 1, the platform may stream non-canonical versions of this experience with their own twists and turns, provided they don't try to impact the canon without participating in the system as designed. If something happens that your community feels must be included in the official canon, join the official lore chapter and reenact the story. Super easy to do. Selling team-related merchandise outside of our ecosystem infrastructure is not allowed in any way, shape, form, or format, and this is strictly enforced. This includes wearables of any kind featuring team logos, text identifying the team, or any derivative of the team's trademarks. It will disrupt the ecosystem to an incredible degree if this is violated. This is enforced by the top brass DAO as a vital priority with zero tolerance of violations. Selling physical merchandise derivative of creative characters is limited to wearables, excluding sportswear of any kind. So shirts, hats, socks, scarves, bags, and legwear are all appropriate offerings. And all merchandise must be submitted to and approved by the top brass DAO and must be hard capped with a non-fungible token pool at 1,000 pieces. So no matter what you're doing in terms of merchandise, if you want to take your character's image and go put it on a shirt, go for it. Tell us that's what you're doing. And then we'll officially stamp it, and we'll do a limited release at 1,000 pieces of that piece. These offerings will issue 45% of the value generated to Let Me Out Productions, split between the season of contribution and a pool equally distributed by past seasons. The streaming platform receives 35% of the value generated, with 5% going to the charity the streaming platform chooses to affiliate with, and 15% will go to the creator of the merchandise, with appropriate splits from that issuance for any likeness or sources of derivation. Selling physical merchandise derivative of claimed characters is limited to wearables, excluding sportswear of any kind. It's pretty much the same exact rule. It is exactly the same rule. Branding your lore chapter with a title and thorough professional presentation is encouraged. If you're a lore master, any merchandising featuring this branding will issue 7.5% of net value produced on the market to Let Me Out Productions, and 2.5% net value produced on the market to a charity the streaming platform chooses to affiliate with, provided the charity is vetted and approved by the top brass DAO. So let's say Dimension 20 grabs a lore chapter, and they want to call it, The Adventure of the Red Beans. Okay, and they want to put out a shirt that says The Adventure of the Red Beans in the team colorway. It doesn't have the logo of the team, but it does have the team colorway and all that. That's where that applies. Now, there's no limit. You guys do your own limits on merchandise. If you want to just have that in your D20 store, in your platform store, go for it. Oh, gross. Okay. I'm almost through it. Further, these offerings must issue 20% of the revenue earned with each and every player in the game, based on measurement of presence and impact at Rapid Lore Chapter, which happens after 7 meetings called Lore Parties. And the event merchandising is sold before the Lore Chapter is wrapped in full. Pool appropriate revenue share in an escrow wallet for your table. Your streaming platform retains 35% net value produced on the market of all revenues produced by merchandise featuring your specific Lore Chapter branding, using team colors, and the team name is appropriate, as is allowed within reason. But the team logo and our fonts and all that, that's I've been clear. 35% net value produced on the market of all revenues produced and will be pooled for the designers of the merchandise, with appropriate splits from that issuance for any likeness or sources of derivation. Let Me Out Productions LLC reserves the right to pull any Press Pass All Access related merchandise from the market for any reason at any time, and we will always immediately pull merchandise if the likeness featured or the creator who made it doesn't want it sold. It's that simple. In order to facilitate this enforcement, all merchandising, no matter the platforms involved, must be facilitated through the top brass DAO. If you're just going to host your adventure name in your own store, just tell us. That's all that means. And then make sure that the artist is plugged in at 20%. 35% net value. In order to facilitate this enforcement, all merchandising... Oh, I already said that. Lore producers who own claim characters originated within the Press Pass All Access must develop and contain any and all intellectual property related to that character within the Press Pass All Access franchise and ecosystem unless otherwise licensed. We're super flexible on that. But basically, we just want to know if you're... if you claim... this person, Prosperity Chamberpot, right? She is the starting power forward for the 1939 San Francisco Buoys. This would be a claimed character. This is a character I wrote, and her name is Prosperity Chamberpot. Her nickname is Fiber. A great example of the sort of boundaries you might be able to push and get away with ages 11 and up. SpongeBob humor. And if you're gonna like put Prosperity in a movie about teddy bears, go for it. You know what I mean? Just like let us know. Hey, we're gonna be using the character of the movie about teddy bears. Hey, go for it. You don't have to pay us anything. Just let us know so we know what's happening with the characters that we've created. And that way they don't end up in like adult content and things like that. Lore producers who created/introduced characters are agreeing to produce any and all professional sports-related or press pass-related intellectual property for that character within the Press Pass All Access franchise and ecosystem, unless otherwise licensed. And then the last bit of the USLA is have fun. Okay, all streamers of any size and background are welcome to click around our public material and have themselves a good time for as long as they want, with nothing expected from Let Me Out Productions. Please participate in the Top Brass Down or merchandising initiatives for our experiences. They're a lot of fun and designed for community building and community wealth. So, like Asmongold, right? Like, I know he's been clicking around here. He can stream it. He can stream the whole wiki. Like, go for it. It helps us out. So, if you're a big streamer and you want to help out Let Me Out Productions, buy a bunch of version 1 and version 2 collectibles and give them away to your audience. Or you can set up your whitelist and collect 15% of the market position their memes produce. They can register the transaction hashes of the giveaway transfer, provided you don't register any editions yourself. We also don't recommend registering editions from transfers of more than 250 at a time for your own sanity. But our systems, once launched, create a new transaction hash out of the bulk transfer for every edition you register. We have one ethical ask. If you're generating high engagement and revenue from discussing the Press Pass All Access Sport Punk universe without direct official participation, transition into directly participating. It's like the first ones are $20. It'll be more fun for your community for you to be a part of the official canon, and there's so much opportunity to do so, like incredible opportunity. So that goes for Smosh, it goes for Tri-Channel, that goes for Asmongold, that goes for Moist Critical, Ludwig, Maya, anybody. I'm just Abbott and Preach. That guy Dan Olson that made the Line Goes Up video that totally hurt everybody who is building authentic collaborative storytelling products here by shaping everything as financial instruments. Like that guy. Anyway, I made him a coach of the Calgary Mounted Elbow in 1939 because I want him to experience what this technology is actually for instead of just making self-righteous nonsensical content about it. Really hurt everybody's ability to stabilize and make sales here. I mean, most of us are marginalized people. We're not celebrities. We're not, I'm in a storage unit on my foster parents' property. So just let that sink in for a minute. When I started this in 2021, I had an apartment in Sacramento. I had to move out of there because it was mold infestation, and I didn't have enough money to get a new apartment because that's insane right now. You have to have at least $7,500. You have to make triple the income to even get into a place. A lot of places require 700 credit score. Like, all of that's bullshit, by the way. So, I am completely destabilized right now, and this is my only answer because I showed you guys earlier. I'm all cut up. Goodness, that camera's so dark on the stream. Why are you so dark, camera? What is going on here? Let me take a minute. That didn't work. I don't know what's going on. Okay, configure video. Huh. Maybe it's a gamma setting. Ooh. This is terrible. What on earth? Huh. Ah, there you go. That's a little better. At least at least on my appropriate skin tone. Doesn't do anything. I don't want to mess with gamma. I promise you, this webcam is not that bad. The lighting in here is terrible, I'll put it that way. Whoa. I'll just have to deal with this. Okay. Look at this. This is considered a morbid disability, okay? I've been cut from here to here. That's sternum to pelvis. I've been cut here to here. And on this side, the intestines are entirely paralyzed and super narrow. So I have to manually work my digestive tract, otherwise I will die from sepsis. Alright, I gotta wrap this up. Like I said, not fun. Okay. There was one more thing I wanted to go through, though. Cool. Dope. I need to tweet out that USLA on the Press Pass account. Okay, this is the last thing I wanted to go through. We're not going to get through the sample today. Sorry, on anybody who listened back to the Twitter space. It seems Let Me Out Productions is headed towards a synthesis of Layer XYZ for Marketplace. I love that platform, let me tell you, Layer. It is a beautiful platform. Rweave/Eco and Beam.xyz for content hosting and delivery, and Near Protocol with an ETH bridge as the base network. That's, I love Polygon too, but Near's been so friendly to me over the past few months and making sure that my life is not completely falling apart. So I'm leaning towards Near. We do need and also Near might be the best way to preserve the history we've created. That's the other nice thing about what Near is able to do. So gotta love Web3, folks. So many doors, so many good people, and now the goal is to sell our existing products to provide runway for the transition. And like I said, the experience is active, so it's not like you're investing in an experience that needs to be built. The experience is active today. It's very analog, and I would like to improve the systems, but somebody ought to grab 500 version 1 collectibles and become a Press Pass Elder. It'll cost you about a hair under $9,000, and now you can facilitate 100 role players in the Press Pass via community whitelist. Each community member plays for free. They each enjoy adding 5 canonical characters, 5 chapters of roleplay with their main character. They are locked into that main character for those 5 chapters, and then they can do 5 memes to the archive of the show. They can use their side characters in the roleplay to help them better the experience. So here's what that looks like. Owner leases property. You're paying here under $10,000 for the property. 500 pieces. Now the maximum potential, that means that if every market position returns 100% of the maximum commission, this property owner has made $680,000. Now that's honestly not likely at all. That you're not going to get 100% maximization of the meme market positions. 33% is much more likely, which brings you to $225,000. How cool is that? This is for facilitating the product. It's a direct effort. It's a collaboration. You buy 500 tokens. You set up a community whitelist. It allows the first 100 people to come in and enjoy your property. And then now you're taking 15% of the meme market position. A 33% market reality in that instance is $225,000. Pretty cool. A 5% market reality is $34,000. So collaborative intellectual property it's not an investment, but it's much lower risk than investment. I don't know what to tell people, because you actually have control over what's happening. So that's the main thing. It's cordoned off into your specific section of what's happening, but you have control over it. So each meme they make has 4 market positions: potential use in an episode earning a bounty, potential use in an ad earning a bounty, guaranteed use as digital collectible merchandise for the show, but sales aren't guaranteed. Customers have to buy the memes, just like they have to buy the memes to participate. It's all built. The proof of concept is the user experience that of buying the memes to participate. So the product facilitator, which is the platform who buys the tokens and sets up a whitelist for their community to onboard through, enjoys 15% of the market position. The community member enjoys 35% of the market position, 5% to charity, and then Let Me Out Productions at a healthy 45%. Now, all of this is before taxes. They haven't decided how they're taxing digital assets, but I know I'm watched for everything I do. I just suggest it's income. This is just standard income. If it's a business, they pay a business income tax. If an individual, it's an individual income. It's just standard income. Now, these bounties are going to be paid out in cryptocurrency, and then when the cryptocurrency is converted to US dollars, that's when it becomes income. They can't tax a cryptocurrency because it's not a currency they have governance over, but it's not a reason to avoid paying taxes. The reason to, as we can't keep giving billions of dollars away to countries that are killing people. I'll leave it right there, okay? I'm not trying to take it down a political direction, but yeah. Is this still going? Show captions? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm finally caught up. Okay. Great news. Now, if all 500 memes produce 100% of their market positions, the product facilitator would earn over $680,000. 100% is not realistic. 5 to 33% is much more realistic. It's highly unlikely any pool of memes is going to produce more than 33%. So that's why I said 5 to 33%. 5% is likely achieved just through the sales of the memes as merchandise. Now, there's no scale of time, and the returns are not passive from the purchase of the product. They are earned commission from facilitating a group of users and establishing a community wealth system. All memes will be merchandised once they're registered to the archive and made available immediately. And we're set up for that now. So we can do it analog for 1939, set the example, understand the best way to build the seamless systems for the experience, and then everybody who's roleplayed can go shoot their own memes and get the initial batch out. It's ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful system. Advertising bounties start at phase 1, so we need about $600,000 in product sales to get to phase 1. I will be running ads before we get there, but as for right now, I'd really like to get our personnel shored up because I'm doing this by myself. We have so many project attachments that we really need to focus on getting people that have been waiting a long time to activated, including the guy who's doing the jerseys, one of the best jersey designers in the world. Episode bounties start once we achieve our full budget and start production of the 24-episode season 1. For the showbiz snoops, y'all know who you are. Here are all the tiers of product facilitation. Okay? This is individual. So for the standard customer, they're going to be buying 1 to 7 pieces. 1 piece $20, 7 pieces $120, $130. All right. Individuals can still get the 25-piece package. Maybe they'll get the 250, maybe they'll get the 500. Platforms are going to be more interested in 500 to 53,091. Now, 53,091 is based on the overall supply, which is 530,9160. So this is 1% of the supply, which is literally 1% of the intellectual property of season 1 of Press Pass. So, and you can look at all the max potentials. Okay, so max potential lease for the executive producer position, $81 million. That ain't gonna happen. Okay, that'd be a 100% return on all meme positions. That's not gonna happen. You're spending less than $1 million right now, $900,000 for the 1% of the show. However, 33% return is $27 million, $26.9 million. You guys have a fiduciary obligation to do this, but you don't want to. Anyway, 5% product return is 4 million, and then we do a per meme measurement as well. So when you increase your commitment, you increase the meme value potential that it pays out. So that's why the standard consumer is establishing a $2,600 position, but an executive producer is actually establishing a $4,400 position per meme, and it's 53,091 memes. 33% return, 33% product performance, $26 million. Pay your taxes, you're still coming out real nice. Okay, this is a blockchain network collaborative IP product, and these are the terms of use. Just like if you buy a Nintendo game and you want to host a Smash Bros. Tournament, there are terms of use and monetization. You own that product, but the minute you try to monetize it and utilize it in a way that generates value, Nintendo has a say. So we're the exact same way. These numbers are based on the version 1 piece, which registers notable fans and ecosystem professionals to the official canon of Let Me Out Press Pass. It's just Press Pass. This is actually a meme link, but Twitter kind of obscures it. The cover that's a digital painting of a picture that I took during one of the media days that I covered throughout my years in Sacramento basketball. And then the version 2 piece has the same sort of digital painting. These are actually, they're supposed to be animated, but somehow the OpenSea messed up the animation for the version 2 piece, so it's just this frame here, but it's still a great frame. We went over what these register. Any notable fan or ecosystem professional can try to roleplay their way into being a syndicate player or a team coach, but that will take multiple lore chapters of effort. The 1939 coaches and players are already established story cement, and most are available to claim. Y'all can read about the Basketball Syndicate of America. We went through it. The role players are called lore producers. We went through that. We'll be expanding to other sports in future seasons, but the Genesis experience is focused on lore discovery for the Basketball Syndicate of America, aka the BSFA. Pronounced BSFA. In future seasons, we'll roleplay the lore of the National Association of Modern Football, aka the NAMFU. That'll be the Season 2 lore game. We're still going to be shooting, Season 2 of Press Pass will still be focused on the basketball story we're telling. But we are going to use these seasons to generate the lore of these other things, so we can produce so many content streams down the line, off of this huge syndicated generated lore that we're all coming up with together. Season 3 will be the Global Hockey Program, aka the GLOP. That's the Season 3 lore game. We'll have the United Club Football, which is headquartered in Argentina, one of my favorite countries in the world. That's pronounced as Uncle Fu, and that'll be the Season 4 lore game. At that point, we will license spin-off series to other production platforms with our quality standards established. Can't wait for that. Then we have Majesty Kasperli Federación. I have no idea what I just said. No, I do know. It's World Estonian Handball Federation, headquartered in Estonia, which is pronounced the MEK. This will be the Season 5 lore game. Then we have the International Baseball Association, headquartered in Japan, which is the INTBA. The INTBA. The INTBA. That'll be the Season 6 lore game. Then we have the Canadian Multi-Sport Fellowship, headquartered in Canada, which is the CMOLF. That'll be the Season 7 lore game. We have the International Tennis Body, headquartered in Kenya, which is the ITB. That'll be the Season 8 lore game. We have the Oceanic Organization of Water Sports, headquartered in Australia, which is the OOZ. That'll be the Season 9 lore game. We also have Wrestle Fighters Unanimous. I actually haven't decided where to headquarter that. Maybe Tunisia or something, I don't know. But all professional sports leagues in the Press Pass All Access franchise are mixed / all gendered throughout their entire history. In order to get to where we all know this is going, we have to be supported on the ground floor in the precise way that makes this sustainable. Let's build. The character registration experience is live and active today. Once we achieve enough collaborators, the official canon for BSFA begins. The initial product for Season 1 is on OPSI. Yeah, you ops. So I'll have to swallow that to preserve our history. This is the very first blockchain network collaborative IP product in history, having minted on May 18th, 2021, way before the market turned into a gambling den, trading around titles to pictures like financial instruments. I hate it as much as you do. I'm suffering here in a storage attic on my foster parents' property because y'all refuse to engage with blockchain products, blockchain blockchain networked collaborative intellectual property products. Most of what you've seen are basically people, wink wink, trading around titles of cartoons as financial instruments. That's how everybody has seen what blockchain is, and I'm telling you that is like less than 1% of what's going on here. Most of what is actually going on is networked collaboration. Okay, decentralized governance, network collaboration, and storytelling. We're pioneers of this. Let Me Out Productions is at the forefront of this, and we've been buried by the gambler's den. So if you're a streamer out there and you're constantly talking about NFTs as investments, you're not doing anybody any favors. They are not investments. Stop saying that. They're not investments. If you're telling your audience that those are investments, somebody in your audience is going to buy one as an investment, they're going to lose their money. Because if you buy a penguin for $100 and you think you're going to sell it to somebody else for $10,000, you're a moron. I'm sorry, you are. Okay? That's just not going to happen, and you're trying to basically come up big off trading a cartoon like a financial instrument. There's no underlying value that produces a $10,000 resale. The Bored Apes performed that way because they had this novelty of, I'm going to put this in quotes, being first. We launched a month before them. The Let Me Out Productions collaborative brand launched on March 24th, and we launched the Musical Bears Crypto Bears musical on March 27th. We launched a month before them, and we are blockchain network collaborative IP products in our brand and in our storytelling products, or in our productions. I mean. So this is the very first blockchain network collaborative IP product in history, having minted on May 18th, 2021, way before the market turned into a gambling den, trading around titles to pictures like financial instruments. I also want to be clear. 2 of the 3 rights of the tokens provided that the tokens provide can be reset on resale, but there is no potential for marked up gains, and we actively don't want speculators purchasing the product because you actually hurt our collaboration or collaborative ecosystem if you're buying version 1s and version 2s and like, oh, I'm going to buy this for $50 and sell it to somebody else at $150. Don't do that. Like, go do that. Go somewhere else. Don't do that. The premise of our product is somebody to use and collaborate and have fun. It's not for you to be a brigand, as what you would be called in the game, and buy a ticket to something and sell it at a markup. So these are tickets to an experience, but they are also the intellectual property of the experience. Like, it is property. It's also self-sustainable. So even without Let Me Out Productions as an active participant driving this game forward, the ecosystem flows as intended. And I do have it in my will, like if I die or something, because, it's a reality with my disability, like everything will maintain. You might lose some quality assurance, but everything will maintain. So yeah, the point of buying a collaborative IP product is to collaborate. It's not to mark it up and sell it to somebody else and try to make them your patsy. Like, it needs to stop. And to the regulators, because I know you guys watch me too, a real easy regulation for this is if somebody's selling a collaborative IP product on the blockchain, freeze the secondary window. 3 months, 6 months, whatever you guys say. I don't give a shit. I don't want people buying our products and immediately turning around and selling it at a markup. Freeze the secondary window. You can't sell it again until 3 months after you purchase it. It's very simple. That sets the purchase premise as use of the product. There's no misunderstanding if the secondary window is frozen. You're going to save so many people from making mistakes and getting involved in this gambler's den, and you'll set the market correct. As a pioneer of this, I am begging you to not consider digital titles as financial instruments or investments of any kind. Just freeze the secondary window. Just freeze it. Now, it is property that the customer owns, and they should be able to sell it for whatever they want at a later time, but the purchase premise needs to be use. That's the purchase premise. As a proprietor of these products, I'm fine with a frozen secondary window of up to 6 months. After 6 months, I think it's a little excessive. Okay, but even 6 months is kind of excessive, but I know how y'all are. But I would say at least 3 months. 3 months is fine. That means anybody buying a version 1 or version 2 collectible, you can't sell it to anybody else until 3 months after the date that you purchased it. So why would you buy it if you're trying to sell it at a markup immediately? right? So it'd kill the bot activity. It'd do so many things that were so vital for this ecosystem. Just that very simple regulation. Blockchain network collaborative IP products must not be sold on secondary for 3 months after initial purchase. I don't know if that would hold up, and if the customer sues and says it's my property, I want to sell it immediately. I don't know if that would hold up if it went through a trial court and all that. But that is a very marketplaces should that should be a marketplace thing. In fact, OpenSea, I'll talk about this a little bit. We do puzzles in every single IP that we have, including the brand of Let Me Out Productions. And the brand puzzle pieces are called company ownership tokens. Now, they called, after 2.5 years of trade, 2 compliance audits satisfied, not a single one of our customers has ever bought a company ownership token to sell at a markup. It hasn't been a market reality. They decided to disable the product and call it unregistered securities. And they're basically saying, oh, because it's called company ownership token, that it's a security. Well, guys, I'm a linguist. Company is a word that originated in the 12th century. Com, C-O-M, means together. It's a Latin word, Latin root that means together. Pan means bread. Do you know what company means? It specifically refers to a trade guild of artists that are producing audience experiences that break bread after they've completed their production. That is how the word originated. Shakespeare Company. Okay? It wasn't appropriated into business use until the 15th century, and even then, the objective value of meaning delivered by the word is not business activity. It's not market activity. It is a formal association of a group of people. That is what the word means. In our case, it's a formal association of a group of artists producing audience experiences. So, company, formal association of a group of artists producing audience experiences. Ownership, legal right to. Token, proof. Proof of your legal right to associate with a formal artist, proof of your legal right to affiliate with a formal association of artists producing audience experiences. That is not a security. That is not an investment contract. That is not a financial instrument. Just allow us to freeze the secondary market after purchase for 3 months. The marketplace can establish that rule, and we're good. Y'all won't have the SEC breathing down. You don't need to be bootlickers to them anyway. OpenSea, goodness gracious. The hell are you doing? Fight for Web3. Fight for the blockchain network collaborative IP products. Honestly, after the behavior, we're moving our future off your platform anyway, but our history's there. So we want to preserve our history as best we can. So if you unfreeze my company ownership token collection, we will continue selling those on OpenSea, and you need to unfreeze the shared storefront contract so we can actually complete the collection. But past that, all the other products will move off because I'm super uncomfortable with the idea that you guys can disable people's products anyway. You're supposed to be an impartial peer-to-peer marketplace. You're not supposed to be market riggers. So, so gross. I'm sorry. I'm getting sick in real time. I said that a few times. Okay, so you can generate... Oh, let's do some character generation before I hang up on the stream. So you can generate a notable fan or an ecosystem professional. And this is... I can't believe I haven't explained this yet. This is what I should have opened up with. Here's the original Beasts of Fey franchises of 1939. You have the Allentown Oats here. They have a sort of a soft gold, white, a silver, and a really kind of bright red as their colorway. We have the Boston Potatoes, which have a deep purple, a kind of a chartreuse green, a very soft light gray, and then naturally the brown of a potato. We have the Columbus Dutch, which have a... shout out to Soto. He's our uniform designer for the entire... he's the lead uniform designer for this entire franchise. And my original colorway didn't have any orange in it. And he was like, dude, the Dutch are all about orange. He's French. Soto's French. He's like, you're not going to have orange in it? And I'm like, oh, shit. So I went back and redid the colorway. They have a deep red, a pink. They have a sort of really light lavender, a deep navy blue, and the orange. They're one of the only teams that have 5 colors in the colorway. The Manhattan Pantaloons have a sort of a algae-ish green, denim blue, of course, a lavender color, and then a silvery white. The Pittsburgh Gridlock have a direct red, a direct yellow, black, and gray. The Yonkers Highness have gold lame. Shout out Will Griffith. Why did I say your name? Shout out Will Griffith. We have a pale green. This is another team with 5 colors. A dark green, a sort of a flat blue, and a flat red. The Calgary Mounted Elbow have white, black, red, and blue. Just the straight primaries there. The Chicago Red Beans have a bluish purple, a sort of a blood red color, a very soft pink, and a light red color. The Los Angeles Wet Fountains have this like pale gold, a deep, darker gray, a dark blue, like a navy blue, and then a hot pink. The Minnesota Menace feature this sort of pale yellow, a really nice soft orange, a vibrant blue, and they're actually a team that only has 3 colors in the colorway. So I mixed it up a little bit. The Nashville Whiskers have a really bright green and a deep red, and there's a brown in there and an almost black gray. Then the San Francisco Buoys have like an aqua blue, navy blue, a flat yellow, and white. And those are the 12 original teams. I've already explained the clip. As a cognitive linguist, I study the impact of self-righteous prescriptivism on our shared collaboration of survival. This clip is rejected by self-righteous opinions, making room for organic collaborators. It's I wouldn't even say it's backfired, but we've had a person counter-marketing us since we dropped the product. It's illegal, FTC. Check it out. I've sent you a complaint. All right. 10,000 pieces qualifies the customer to be a co-producer. 53,091 pieces as executive producer. If you're going to buy that package, like if you're AMC or Polygon or HBO or Dapper Labs or the NBA or one of the NBA teams, and you're going to buy one of those packages, give me a call. Let's walk through the system and the numbers first. Obviously, if you want to go in the store and buy the package, like nobody's stopping you, but make sure that you have, make sure that you understand the entire ecosystem. And to do that, take about half an hour to an hour explaining walking through the spreadsheets, walking through the systems that we're planning ahead. And that way there's some quality assurance and value assurance in your purchase. And I would honestly prefer that. I'd like to know who our executive producers and co-producers are directly. That'd be great. We'd be a platform or individual, most likely platform. Same thing with you all, Near Protocol, Polygon. Whichever one whichever one buys the product first, that's our layer 2. So, okay, let's play with the generator real quick. Oh, I already have one open. Become an ecosystem. Let's go notable fan first. Okay. A notable fan character. There's 4 character styles you can choose to be in the game. So you can be a notable fan, ecosystem professional, a team coach, or a syndicate player. I save all these images because they never come back up. They do have seeding, but I'm not going to dig through the seeding to dig up your image. So if you are using the generator and you have a character image that you like, make sure you right click and save as. Okay? So fan rating, we have B tier. It's an S through F tier rating system. B. You know what? I can pull that up. Let's do it this way. Okay. So this fan rating is B tier, and you can see the tier list right here. You can also take everything I've coded here and like repurpose it for yourself. This is Perchance is great. They're an open source platform, and I believe in open source when appropriate. When you're not exploiting labor, or when you're not putting your labor in a position to be exploited by making something open source. So this fan is B tier, which means they watch, listen to every game. Here's the tiers. S tier is you're a season ticket holder. A tier is your frequent attendance to games, but you may not go to every game. B tier, you watch and listen to every game. C tier is you're a fair weather fan. D tier is that you pretend to like the team for personal reasons. And F tier is you don't know anything or you don't care. Right now, that's where I'm at. Sorry, NBA. Their alignment is performative formal. Let's bring up the alignment chart. It's an alignment chart that I came up with. It doesn't exist in any other role-playing game. It's a 7x7 alignment with motives, 7 motives, and 7 morals. Lawful, harmonious, performative, authentic, contrarian, chaotic, and ignorant. And then moral, you have good, innocence, formal, neutral, sleaze, arrogance, and evil. Lawful are characters who follow strict... Let me put this in chat. Lawful is characters who follow strict rules and adhere to prescriptive laws and regulations, no matter how unpopular it makes them. Harmonious are characters who cooperate with the group mentality without much question. They don't want to be the source of drama. Performative are characters who are concerned with their image and participate in the group with their reputation as their priority. Authentic are characters who value honesty and being true to oneself, and they're not afraid to express genuine thoughts and feelings, no matter the law, group harmony, or their own image. Contrarian are characters who value going against the group mentality and or the status quo, even if it's inauthentic. Chaotic are characters who are unpredictable and may act impulsively. They do not follow any rules, have any values, or adhere to a set structure. And ignorant are characters who lack knowledge, understanding, and or curiosity about information or a situation. They often act without thinking or being aware of the consequences. Motives, you have good, characters who have strong moral compass and act with kindness, compassion, and generosity. They may act in high regard for others until a display of behavior dismisses their reason for good faith. Innocence, idealistic characters who do not have a sense of who do not have a strong sense of the alignments of others and are naive, gullible, and or lack experience. They may act in high regard for others without judgment to a fault. Formal are characters who are strict and reserved. They place a high value on manners, etiquette, prescriptive linguistics, and following the rules. They may act in high regard for others if they fit their behavioral prescription. Neutral, characters who do not have a strong inclination towards good or evil. They may prioritize their own interest and act in their own self-interest. They place a high value on calm, energy balance, and descriptive linguistics. They may act in high regard for others, but not if it inconveniences them. Sleaze, characters who are opportunistic and willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead. They may be unscrupulous and act without regard for others. Arrogance are characters who are overly confident and believe they are superior to others. They may be dismissive or disrespectful of others. And then evil are characters who engage in harmful or malicious behavior. They may act with cruelty, greed, or disregard for the well-being of others deliberately. That's the evil. So there you go. There's your alignment chart there. Let's go back to the generator here. So this guy's performative formal. Okay, so he's a character who's concerned with his image, participates in the group with a reputation as their priority, and he's strict and reserved, places high value on manners, etiquette, prescriptive linguistics, and following the rules. He may act in high regard for others if they fit his behavioral prescription. B tier performative formal fan. His first fan commitment is Rosebud. Let's go to the fan commitment page. Rosebud. They buy all the merchandise. It's also a reference to Citizen Kane. But they buy all the merchandise. Oh, it says it right here. Their second fan commitment is Stalker. They're beyond obsessed with a specific player, and it's weird to everybody. Their wealth tier is Dolores Dollar, which means they're lower salary and benefits, and they're an 82-year-old insurance agent in the lore chapter for the 1999 Manhattan Pantaloons. By the way, none of these details are locked in. Like, they're just generators to help people come up with ideas. And right now we're focused on 1939. So just because you get 1999 Manhattan Pantaloons, it doesn't mean you have to be in 1999. You can take everything else about this character and go plug him into a 1939 lore chapter. It doesn't even have to be the Pantaloons. You know what I mean? Nothing's locked into stone. Let's do another one. Nice. We have an S tier, season ticket holder, Lawful Evil. First fan commitment is they're an author. They think they're a sports journalist, but they're not. Their second fan commitment is they're a turncoat. They occasionally root for rival teams just to troll. Another Dolores Dollar, lower salary plus benefits. They're a 23-year-old derrick operator in the lore chapter for the 1991 Murfreesboro Whiskers. Oh, they win the championship too! Oh, nice! Okay, Whiskers fans! 1991, you better look forward to that lore chapter. See, that's a sneaky thing. If you know, like, this is why those rail details are so great. Because if you know the team's going to win a championship in a few years, like the Yonkers Highness win in 1939, everybody should know that. So there should be a rush to get characters in the Yonkers Highness. But if you know that a team's going to win a championship in a few years, and you have your 7 collectibles, you're a lore wrangler, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to do 7 seasons of lore play. Maybe they win the championship in year 4. You can be planting seeds for that championship the entire time. You know what I mean? And that's going to make it so much like richer and more likely that your meme or one of your memes are going to be used in the show, because you're meticulously planning the impact over time. So that's why those details being known ahead of time are really cool. We'll do one more. Okay, B tier fan watches and listens to every game. Authentic sleaze. Ugh. The first fan commitment is Balboa. They get in physical fights as a grown adult. I said that right as this image popped up. Super funny. Their second fan commitment is they're a clout chimney. They're always blowing smoke up the nostrils of people they think are important. Their wealth tier is a Barnaby budget. They're wage labor with no benefits. And this lady's a 57-year-old handpacker in the lore chapter of the 1990 Austin Whiplash. For 57 years old, she looks great. Remember, the image generator is based off of artwork from Theodore Jericho, a long-dead romantic Renaissance painter. So, if you're using generative AI for your content, make sure it's ethical. Like, stop using my granduncle's voice to sing songs. I'm so, like, no, yeah, it's fascinating to hear Darth Vader sing My Way by Frank Sinatra, okay? But, like, I sent his agency a deed, a personal agency deed, that would establish all of his physical voice, cognitive likeness, physical likeness, cognitive likeness, and physical and cognitive agency as his intellectual property, and set terms of infringement. The terms of infringement are $270,000 per infringement. So if APA turns around and they sue the person who put that My Way song up with Darth Vader's voice, do you have $270,000? Stop doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's fascinating. I get it. If you want James Earl Jones to sing My Way, just pay him. It'd probably be less than $270,000. You never know. I don't know. He's in his 90s. Yeah, I had fun. Let's do one more. Shit. A tier fan, frequent attendance, harmonious innocence. First commitment is visionary. They think they know more than the coaches, but they don't. And their second fan commitment is they're a shark. They're a heavy gambler. Their wealth tier is they're a penny popper. They're down bad, which makes sense because they're a heavy gambler. They're a 41-year-old biomedical engineer in the lore chapter for the 1967 Austin Whiplash. She looks straight out of a blaxploitation film from the late 60s. That's perfect. I love her outfit. Oh my god, that outfit is fantastic. I save every image I like because I write new fans and new ecosystem professionals into the game all the time, and I use these images to put them in the wiki. So let's do an ecosystem professional. Let's explore that character. By the way, the generator has all the links to the tokens and everything as well, and more explanations. So here we have a 35-year-old nun who works for Crumcore National Incorporated. That's a giant, I don't even know what to compare them to, like Kellogg or Nestle or something like that. So ecosystem professionals are different than fans. They have different qualities. They have their profession, they have their alignment, performative neutral. The alignment's the same for all four character styles, but now they have a platform. So they have a platform they work for. Crumcore National's a giant, like I said, like Kellogg, something like that. Maybe Walmart even. The character, they have a drive and a professional goal. So this character is driven by resilience with the professional goal of getting the team to change a policy. Their lore chapter is the 2002 Houston Beyonders. 35-year-old nun that works for a national food conglomerate. Come on, please somebody do that. Somebody put that in the lore and start it off. Let's do another one. 40-year-old astrologist, alignment lawful good. They work for a local college or university. Their character is driven by constant panic with the professional goal of creating art for art's sake. Their lore chapter is the 1990 Atlanta Caucasians. Before y'all get offended, the Caucasus is a region of the country. Okay, and we're using Caucasians in the way the Boston Celtics use Celtics, which would be Celtic. But anyway. Alright, so there you go. They are a 40-year-old astrologist driven by constant panic with a professional goal of creating art for art's sake. I suppose I'm not going to save this image because I don't like the border. I tell it not to put a border on, but yeah, negative prompt. Text, border, nudity, logos, athletes. and it still put the border on. So, yeah, I actually kind of like it. I'll keep it. I like her dress. I can take the border off. It's just going to be a low quality image if we... Okay. Well, let's do another one. Ooh, a 65-year-old filter. That's like a press editor. Everybody works in the press and in the media. Some of the job titles changed to really goofy names just because I wanted to do that. Alignment is lawful arrogance. They work for the hero team, so that means they work directly for the Manhattan Pantaloons, another championship team. 1987 Manhattan Pantaloons. I know for a fact this championship was won off the back of a player named Jerry Burden. This character here is driven by toxic positivity with the professional goal of getting hired by the Bisafe. Goodness. Goodness gracious. You guys see how this is all going to synthesize and come together to do something really incredible? By the way, I've never, ever, ever gotten the same set of conditions twice in this generator. I wrote the entire thing. I wrote all the conditions. I planned this all out. I've never gotten it twice. I've never gotten the same set of conditions twice. Here we go. 38-year-old circus act, driven by their alignment is harmonious evil. They work for a licensed broadcast. Their character is driven by tranquility with the professional goal of getting fired in a legendary way. Their lore chapter is the 2009 Utah Slam Poets. Look at her stance. What is she? Well, she's harmonious evil. It's a very interesting alignment combination, for sure. Driven by tranquility and getting fired in a legendary way. Hilarious. Okay. 57-year-old broadcast entertainment professional. Alignment is lawful evil. They work for Sploosh, the sports drink. Their character is driven by classic literature with a professional goal of cheating to help the team. Their lore chapter is the 2012 Carolina Stormhogs. That would be a character that would be coming in right before Season 1 of Press Pass. And that's an interesting dynamic. If you're role playing right before Season 1 of Press Pass, that character is canon for that, what we're doing in Season 1. So this broadcast entertainment professional, if the Carolina Stormhawks came to Sacramento that season, and this lady is the sideline reporter and they work for this brand called Sploosh, the sports drink, driven by classic literature with the professional goal of cheating to help the team, they could very well end up in an episode themselves, like without having the meme dynamic. So that's interesting. 48-year-old blog buoy. Alignment ignorant good. They work for the hero team. Their character is driven by an ancient curse with the professional goal of showing your parents you're capable. I should say there, but still. The lore chapter is the 1954 Yonkers Highness. Once again, it did a border. I'm not going to keep that one, but that's a very... And Blog Buoy is 5th era and later, and this is a 2nd era team. So that doesn't... We had our first one that didn't actually sync. Wow, that image is great. It is so pink. I love it. Like a pile of rats next to her feet. Okay. This is a 34-year-old 5-0 member, which means she's police or security. Alignment performative evil. Oh, that's probably one of the worst ones. They work for a local brand or sponsor. The character is driven by professional reputation with the professional goal of moving to a smaller city or town. Their lore chapter is the 1998 Miami Crypto. Solid character, honestly. So you're a security member for a local brand or sponsor. You want to upkeep your professional reputation, but ultimately you want to move to a smaller city or town, and you're performative evil. Ooh. This person is a 39-year-old assistant ballsmith. They make basketballs. Their alignment is authentic good. They work for a magazine. I don't know why I don't know why a magazine is making balls, but maybe they have like a brand promotion, and this person is assisting the person who's making balls. The character is driven by tranquility. Ooh, we got that one again, with the professional goal of getting a player nickname to stick. Their lore chapter is the 2010 Denver Treasure. I love this image too. Don't know what's going on with the tear lines on her face or those tattoos. Is she sad? Okay. 41-year-old dancer or choreographer. Chaotic innocence. They work for a local college or university. I don't know what the hell they're doing there. The character is driven by the voices in their head, with the professional goal of becoming a coach someday. Their lore chapter is the 1987 Philadelphia Saltos. That's a great character, driven by the voices in their head. Ooh. Ooh. If y'all are watching this stream and you don't immediately go out and spend $20 to put a character in the lore, I don't know what to tell you. It's a 50-year-old bounty hunter. Alignment contrarian innocence. They work for a local newspaper. Their character is driven by the nerve to say anything with the professional goal of making a fortune. It's Hassan Piker. Oh man. Contrarian innocence, even that applies. Lore chapters 2006 Nashville Whiskers. She looks forlorn as hell. Doesn't this image generator do a great job of spitting out romantic style Renaissance images? I mean, look at that. This is a 28-year-old groundskeeper. Performative innocence. They work for the film. Some of these details, like, they're very vague because I want y'all to fill in the blank. Like, if you're working for a magazine, I don't need to title the magazine. You guys can collaborate and determine what magazines exist in this world. It can be an infinite amount. The character is driven by the need to create a hierarchy with the professional goal of becoming a coach someday. Lore chapter 1954 Columbus Dutch. Border, but I like the image, so we'll save it. And then I'll take it to 785. How about that? "40-year-old marketer. Alignment lawful sleaze. They work for a theatrical troupe. Their character is driven by expectation of favor with the professional goal of getting fired in a legendary way. Their lore chapter is the 1949 Chicago Red Beans." This lady sounds... That sounds like the original Karen right there. But, yeah, the person's... Ooh, what a shitty person. Oh, perfect. A 39-year-old transport driver, harmonious good. They work for a player's family. Their character is driven by sarcasm with the professional goal of doing it all by yourself. The lore chapter is the 1994 Seattle Loud. That's a great character. By the way, if you're watching this stream back and you want any of these characters, tell me. I'm saving the images. And we can pull out the time code from the stream to get the details. 49-year-old union representative, alignment authentic formal. They work for licensed broadcasts. Ooh, a broadcast union rep. Cool. The character is driven by Zesian, which is the simply proven idea that you deserve to exist, with a professional goal of organizing their professional life. Lore chapter is the 2000 Detroit Berries, and it looks to me that this is sort of probably a Native American, given the neck piece. Maybe part Native. Oh, I went past 785. I'm having a good time. Doing a 35-year-old lore bard. That's what we call a journalist. A contrarian sleaze. They work for a local college university. The character is driven by friendship with the professional goal of capturing iconic moments. Lore chapter is the 1941 Manhattan Pantaloons. Anything with text I don't save because that means it's not using images from Theodore Jericho's time. They are a 43-year-old productivity officer. Alignment is harmonious arrogance. They work for licensed broadcast. Their character is driven by their own shame with the professional goal of getting sauced on the sly. Oh my god. That's rich. That is so rich. I can't save the image because of the border, and once I scrape that border out, and there also seems to be like a signature down there. 65-year-old ware peddler, which means they're a store merchant. The platform also has to have a star next to it for them to be so this one doesn't really apply, but their character is driven by survival with the professional goal of finding the cleanest bathroom. In the lore chapter of the 1992 Utah Slam Poets. That guy's styling. Look at his scarf. when you're saving the images, sometimes it'll spit out a WebP image versus a JPEG. We want the JPEG, so all you have to do is change the file tag here. Super simple, but make sure you save the. I can't express this enough. Make sure you save the image, and whether you're on your phone or a desktop, make sure you get a screenshot of these details. Don't screenshot save the image separately from the screenshot. So it's a two-step process to record the information from the generator. And then eventually this will all be built into the system, but I don't know how to do that as a developer. So a 46-year-old discourse analysis focused linguist. They work for the Basketball Syndicate of America. Their character is driven by a hatred for another team with the professional goal of correcting everybody. That is so appropriate for the job title. The lore chapter of the 2006 Cleveland Dutch. So they work for the syndicate and they just hate a random team. That's interesting. I like that image. I like her outfit. Wow. Stop spitting out WebP. Spit out JPEGs. Make me stop at 790. I got two more. I'll go back to the fan character. We got a B tier, Lawful Sleaze, Balboa, Rosebud, which we've already covered. 40-year-old painter in the lore chapter of the 1965 Long Beach Floaters. I like that image. I don't like the border, but I can scrape the border and keep the image if I need to use that guy. Okay, and then one more. Another B tier fan, Authentic Formal. Their first fan commitment is polite. They try to give tickets away. Their second fan commitment is dump truck. They leave games early. Their wealth tier is penny popper. They're down bad. They're a 32-year-old paralegal in the lore chapter of the Atlanta Caucasians. 2009 Atlanta Caucasians. Okay. And then, just because it may come up, and I'm trying to get folks involved in the show, this is the Atlanta Caucasians. The Atlanta Caucasians, as they are currently known, first joined the Basketball Syndicate in the second syndicate expansion of 1948. Up until 1973, they were known as the Georgia Georgians. So we'll start their history once we get to 1948. Their basketball god is Ophiuchus, which is the 13th zodiac sign, which means that if a lore producer goes to all 7 parties for at least 1 hour per party, they earn +2 hype in their clout branch. Their power element is magnetism. In each lore chapter, all lore producers' characters earn a +2 merit in their skill branch for attending all 7 parties. Now, here's the history. The Georgia Georgians were started by a Georgian wristwatch heiress, Martha Tekla Jabadzwe. She moved from the country of Georgia in the European Caucasus to Georgia in the United States following World War II simply to see what the difference was. She was fascinated by the vast separation in cultures, despite living under the same regional name. Seeing the business potential of the Bisafe right away, she decided to start a team with her wealth and chose peach colors to best reflect the peach state of Georgia. Those are the peach colors. She rebranded the team to the Atlanta Caucasians at the height of their popularity in 1973 in an attempt to challenge the growing use of the word Caucasian to describe people of paler visual appearances, something she abhorred as an actual Caucasian person. She sold the team to Crumb Media in 1989 after acknowledging her fading health had disrupted her goals for the franchise. Martha had direct African ancestry despite a relatively pale appearance, with her maternal grandfather acting as a crucial peace-seeking Ethiopian diplomat during the Georgian-Armenian War of 1918. They are currently known as the Atlanta Caucasians. So the colors are Bisili Sunrise, Sweet Tea Honey, Peach Cream Pie, and Orchard Orange. They win the 1970-71 Basketball Syndicate of America Championship as the Georgia Georgians, and then the Caucasians win again in 2005. You can't possibly be offended by that, but I know some people will. Look at those wonderful peach colors. Isn't that great? By the way, this is like maybe this one. That's really close to my skin tone right now on stream. That's funny. And then the last one that we'll do is the Los Angeles Wet Fountains. I get some questions about this team. The Los Angeles Wet Fountains are one of the original teams in the Basketball Syndicate. Their basketball god is Virgo, which means in each lore chapter, all lore producers earn a +2 panache in their clout branch for attending all 7 lore parties in the chapter for at least 1 hour per party. Their power element is mist and illusion. In each lore chapter, all lore producers earn a +2 dreamer in their skill branch for attending all 7 lore parties in the chapter for at least 1 hour per party. The history of the Los Angeles Wet Fountains, established 1939. Bear with me. The Los Angeles Wet Fountains were established during a dark chapter in Hollywood where many performers were getting blacklisted for their visual appearance and or being outspoken with political beliefs. The stars that could still draw big crowds and were approved by the House Un-American Activities Committee were called fountains by the Hollywood Mafia. The big bag earners, the performers who had to say, were given an additional moniker behind the scenes: wet. If your picture had a wet fountain, it was sure to be a hit. That's the whole point of sport punk, by the way. Plausible fiction dressed in humor. Because that sounds like it could be real, but it's not. I made it up. Now, fun and true fact. In real life, my great-granduncle Robert Earl Jones was actually blacklisted from Hollywood opportunities from the late 30s until the 50s. That's my grandmother's uncle, Robert Earl Jones. Her cousin is the famous James Earl Jones, and it's my granduncle. He's technically my third cousin, but my great-granduncle's son is my granduncle. All right. Area gray, hot wet pink, dark wet blue, and pale Hollywood gold. That's their colors. And this is their logo, which is one of my favorite things I've ever done. Look, the entire thing looks like a fountain, but that's like it's like downtown, sort of like an abstract downtown with like sunrise, sunset. Then you have sort of like La Brea kind of vibes down here with some spouts. We can look at logos before I hang up the call. Here's the Boston Potatoes. By the way, every that's supposed to be a basketball. That's also supposed to be a basketball. This is the thing that grows out of a potato when you leave it sitting too long. So is that. The whole logo is a potato. I had so much fun making these logos for the 1939 teams. Calgary Mounted Elbow. Maybe I should share it. That history is really cool. So. The Calgary Mounted Elbow were initially founded by Grace Bensel, aka Florence Ladoux, and Hilda Many Horses. The franchise began as a symbol of healing in collaboration between the Tsuut'ina and Canada. Mounted celebrated the Calgary Stampede Rodeo and doubled as an attempt to quell the oppression Indigenous Canadians faced from the mounted police. The sharp bend in the confluence of rivers in Calgary was called the Elbow by the First Nations of the area, and with each nation using their own term. All meant elbow. Their basketball god is Taurus, and their power element is smoke. The team was acquired by the Pentagon of the United States of America in 1975 as part of President Ford's contribution to the Cold War. They changed the name to the Washington government to distract dissent from U.S. citizens. Now, both Florence Ladoux and Hilda Many Horses are real people. Hilda Many Horses is honestly probably one of the primary reasons why the Tsuut'ina people were able to preserve their culture and language against the oppression that Canadians put on the Indigenous peoples, the First Nations of that country. And the United States was bad. I'm part Kaw Nation, by the way, K-A-W. The U.S. was particularly bad. It's hard to measure who was worse, but they were both terrible. What's happening in Palestine is very reminiscent of what happened to First Nations. And then Grace Bensel was a cowgirl, like a rodeo cowgirl performer at the Calgary Stampede Rodeo. And great logo there. Some of these players are available to claim. That's Myrna Lettuce. Her nickname is Cabbage. Zippera Culpepper, aka Big Zip. She's like a 7-foot tall woman. There's the coach, Kurt Fontaine. Alessandro Gallardo, an Italian coach. This is Alonso Dietzen. The entire picture didn't load here. I don't know what's up with that. Got the Allentown Oats here. Established by an Allentown oat farmer named Archibald Glenard Catt. Basketball god of Libra. Power element is mind. There you go. This character is, I know Court. Wait a minute. Right? Yeah. Hell yeah, they got all my credits here. Good. They need to put me as a cognitive linguist though. Not yeah. It could be better. Could be better. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I was getting her name right. Courtney Miller. Courtney Miller from Smosh owns Ferdinand Treadway, whose nickname is Eggs, of the Allentown Oats. So, Courtney, I know you've been checking out the wiki because these articles only trend when when the people I've assigned them to. Here's the Chicago Red Beans. Great history. This is what we're talking about with Sport Punk. A lot of these teams, I mean, some of them have made-up characters that founded the team, like the Allentown Oats, definitely made-up characters. But the Chicago Red Beans have real people that founded the team. Henry and Adelaide Steinbarth. So you have the Chicago Red Beans. These little things here are basketballs. You got the hot dogs. You have some actual beans, and then you have a big-ass pepper. And I know a pepper isn't a bean, but it made me laugh, so I put it in there. Yeah, if you're on my Instagram, you can read all the details that aren't on the wiki yet. This is the Columbus Dutch. Basketball god of Pisces, power element of wood. Chicago Red Beans, basketball god Sagittarius, power element health. Boston Potatoes, basketball god is Capricorn, power element of earth. Did I miss anything? No, I didn't. Okay. Dutch, you have Pisces and wood. Los Angeles Wet Fountains, you have Virgo, Mist, and Illusion. These guys were actually founded under the presidential stewardship of Ethel Waters, with backing capital from herself, Robert P. Braddock, and Oscar Michaud. Manhattan Pantaloons, another black-founded team. Isabel Powell, her sister Freddie Washington, Noble Sissel, and Duke Ellington, with backed with capital from Vincent Astor. Basketball god is Cancer, power element is paper and cloth. And that logo is so terrible, but I love it so much. I love it so much. I don't even care if some of these buildings weren't up in 1939. It looks like a fireman shield. This ribbon through the middle is just so bad, just like the Hudson River. And then you have the actual like slacks. And I know slacks and pantaloons are not the same thing, but anyway, I love this logo. It's so terrible. It just. And then this one is great. It's just a great, objectively great logo, the Minnesota Menace. Founded in the winter of 1938, the Minnesota Menace basketball franchise began under the presidential stewardship of General Nodin Gilbert Carnes Sr., an Ojibwe man from Escanaba, Michigan. Basketball god is Gemini, and their power element is pressure. Nodin Sr. attempted to join the Army in Michigan after his son's birth in January of 2017, but was turned away. He traveled to St. Paul, Minnesota, where he signed up for the Minnesota Division in the aviation section of the U.S. Signal Corps. Nodin Sr. trained to be a fighter pilot and became known as the Menace of Minnesota in World War I. General Carnes used a good portion of his capital earned from his fame to create the Minnesota Menace and the newly founded Basketball Syndicate of America in 1938. He asked his wife Cheyenne to coach the team. Nepotism! And his son plays for the team, too. That's his son, Nodin Carnes Jr. And then we have, that's his wife, who coaches the team, Cheyenne Carnes. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Gridlock. There you go. Power element is Mania, and basketball god is Ares. So John H. Harris founded the team with Eva Duarte and Willard Frederick Rockwell Sr. So John H. Harris was the proprietor of Harris Amusement Companies, building off his father's legacy of the Nickelodeon Theater. Real history. When Boleyn and Doucet sought parties to launch the independent Bisafé franchises, Harris was eager to join. He partnered with Willard Rockwell to shore up the capital and asked a young Argentine actress and radio personality he had met in New York City to help guide the early stages of the team's entertainment. Her name was Eva Duarte, later known as Eva Perón. Duarte was instrumental to the fanfare of the team. She named them the Gridlock to encourage fans to think of games as must-see entertainment worth getting caught in traffic. There you go, my Argentine friends. This is your team, baby. My politics, honestly, I'm pretty apolitical, but if you wanted to describe me, I'd be a Peronist, like a Peronist. Peronista. That's me. All right? The Nashville Whiskers, one of the 12 original Basketball Syndicate of America teams. Founded in the winter of 1938, the Nashville Whiskers basketball team began under the presidential stewardship of Sammy Cooper, Margaret Landis, Gertrude Mary Cox, and Raj Chandra Bose. Basketball god is Leo, power element is ink. Sammy Cooper is an African-American gold miner from Forestville, California, and he moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 1931 with his modest wealth. He's a made-up character. I grew up in Forestville, California, so I wanted to anchor a team for my hometown. And in 1933, while on a world voyage with his friend Gertrude Cox, they visited the Indian Statistical Institute where they met Raj Chandra Bose. Their shared interest in global gold mining statistics formed a strong bond. In 1938, when they learned about the development of a professional basketball league, Cooper invited Cox and Bose to join him, seeing it as an excellent opportunity for exploratory statistics. Margaret Landis, a local Nashville actress, provided the final bit of funding needed to launch the franchise. Yeah, I guarantee you 99% of our audience does not know the history of statistics and how the science and approach to statistics, I can't say the word, to statistics came to be. But in Cogling, we value that so much. So I wanted to celebrate the history of statistics. I can't say the word. I've been talking for almost 4 hours now. The 1939 Yonkers Highness, one of the 12 original Basketball Syndicate of America teams. Founded in the winter of 1938, the Yonkers Highness basketball team began under the presidential stewardship of Jacqueline Doucet and Gaius C. Boleyn. Basketball god is Scorpio, and power element is metal. Now, just to be clear, I made up Jacqueline Doucet, and then Gaius C. Boleyn is a real person in history. He's actually the first black lawyer in New York that passed the bar. So, I already read the history of the Highness, and then you got the San Francisco Buoys. Another just phenomenal logo. I mean, look at that. That looks, I'm so excited about this. I can't believe we don't have, I can believe it because people are so turned off of non-fungible tokens and all that shit, but I'm telling you, we came first. We came first, people. I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. The one you want most. Let me load that up. I'm going to go straight to the very first puzzle piece that we put on the blockchain for network collaboration, and here it is. Network LMO Productions 0.00. That decimal point is in the wrong spot. It's supposed to be 3 zeros, 2%. It's the title to the art. It's not a contract, so it is what it is. The one you want most. And when we say company, we don't mean the business. This is not a share of the business. This is why this is disabled from trade right now, is because this marketplace, OpenSea, is forming conjecture, saying that we're selling investment contracts because they don't know what the word company means. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, this is each piece is artistically unique in the brand, and there you go. March 24th, 2021 at 2:09 p.m. Now I will show you. Okay. Here's the thing that you guys define NFTs as, April 2021. Okay? I don't want to be defined by what these guys are doing. We're a fundamentally different thing. I mean, look. These things sold for $200 and now they're being offered $56,000. That is not the point of this technology. April 22nd. Came a month after us. Alright? Please stop defining what I'm doing to the lowest common denominator. I'm begging the streamers out there. You guys are not going to watch this 4-hour stream. But anyway, I'm just begging y'all. Like, you need to stop selling self-righteousness to your audience, because that's what you're doing. Your product is self-righteousness. You're selling it to your audience over things you have never researched. You don't spend any time researching. You just sit on stream all day and talk shit. So, now I agree that this is something that is definitely questionable, because here's the other thing. OpenSea is built like an exchange of financial instruments. Okay? Floor price, best offer, total financial volume. All right? You have the gallery display, but then you go to the analytics tab, and all of a sudden it's all financial data. It's all data that encourages the customer to think of these things as financial instruments. Look, like, it's crazy, man. This is nuts. Then I have an all-time. No, this is pretty stable. But anyway, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this up. I need to go take care of whatever is making me sick. And this has been Let Me Out Productions in the Top Brass Dow. Buy a version 1 token, at least one. If you're going to pay a notary fee, you may as well grab 7. If you're going to grab 7, you may as well grab 25 and plug in your friends to play for free. You and 5, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right. Y'all have a good night. Sending you love. You deserve to exist. I'm glad you exist.